close your eyes, take a deep, slow breath, and let the weight of your day simply dissolve into the shadows of the room. You are leaving the noise of the modern world behind. We are travelling back, not just through years but through centuries, to a time when the world moved at the pace of a falling snowflake. Imagine for a moment that you are standing at the edge of a vast, silent forest in 17th century Europe. The air is crisp, so cold it feels like needles of ice against your skin, but you are wrapped in layers of thick, honest wool. There is a profound stillness here, a quiet that we rarely find in our busy lives. The trees are heavy with a blanket of white, and the sky is a deep, bruised shade of indigo as the sun begins its early retreat. You are about to step into the Little Ice Age. This was a time when the sun seemed to lose its strength, when winters stretched their icy fingers deep into the heart of spring, and when the rhythm of human life had to bend to the will of an unforgiving, frost-kissed climate. But there was beauty in this hardship, a quiet, enduring resilience that defined the human spirit. Tonight, there is no rush, there is no urgency. There is only the soft crackle of a hearth fire waiting for you, the smell of wood smoke lingering in the frigid air, and the gentle unfolding of stories from a time when the world was defined by the hearth, the home, and the long shimmering nights of winter. As we drift together into this colder past, let the stillness of the frost calm your mind. Let the memory of these long-forgotten winters settle over you like a soft, heavy quilt. You are safe, you are warm, and you are here to listen. The channel Sleepy History with Benedict is a storytelling platform created for entertainment, inspiration, education, and the promotion of positive emotional values. As the autumn leaves fell, leaving behind the skeletal fingers of oak and elm trees, the people of this era knew the signs. It was not merely the coming of another winter, it was the arrival of a season that seemed to hold on longer than any before it. In the villages, the air grew sharp, carrying the scent of incoming frost and the promise of a world turned to crystal. Life during the Little Ice Age began in the quiet preparation. Watch in your mind's eye a small village huddled in a valley. The cobblestone streets, usually bustling with the sounds of trade and travel, begin to grow muffled. As the first true snows of the season arrive, they act as a natural blanket, absorbing the echoes of carts and footsteps. The world shrinks, pulling inward toward the centre of the home. Inside the cottages, the rhythm of life slows down significantly. This was not a time of frenetic activity, but one of careful conservation. Think of the harvest gathered earlier than usual, the root vegetables stored in dark earthen cellars, and the stacks of firewood piled high against the outer walls, a bulwark against the encroaching cold. Every log was a promise, every turn of the lock a gesture of protection. There is a particular kind of peace found in these preparations. Imagine the sound of a heavy wooden door closing, sealing out the biting wind and the immediate, enveloping warmth of a small stone room. The hearth is the heart of everything. It is where the family gathers, where the day's labour concludes, and where the orange glow of the firelight dances upon the walls. It is a sanctuary. Outside, the landscape may be transforming into a vast white wilderness, but inside there is the golden hum of contentment. The seasons dictated a slower pace, and during these colder centuries, time itself seemed to stretch. Days were shorter, yes, but the evenings were long and filled with the simple necessary tasks that held a family together, mending wool, sharpening tools by the fire, and sharing stories that had been passed down through generations. The cold did not isolate them. In many ways it drew them closer, knitting their lives together with the thread of shared survival and quiet companionship. The architecture of the time was a testament to humanity's understanding of the environment. Think of the thick stone walls of a rural cottage, built deep and solid, designed to trap the precious heat of the fire within. These homes were not expansive or grand. They were intimate, often consisting of a single main room where the hearth acted as the centre of the universe. Windows were small, not because they lacked ambition, but because they were points of vulnerability where the biting air could creep inside. To combat this, they were often covered with heavy wooden shutters or thick cured animal hides, and later small panes of leaded glass that shimmered with age. When the evening wind began to howl across the frozen fields, these houses stood like fortresses of comfort. Within these walls the air was heavy with the scent of pine smoke, dried herbs hanging from the ceiling beams, and the faint earthy smell of the fire. The floor might be made of packed clay or stone, covered with rushes or straw to provide insulation from the deep cold of the ground. It is a simple setting, yet it radiates a sense of profound peace. Consider the stillness of a snowy evening in such a home. The fire is banked low, casting long lazy shadows that dance across the rafters. The wind might whistle through the eaves, but inside, the atmosphere is held in a state of suspended animation. It is the perfect environment for rest. You can almost feel the chill outside and contrast it with the radiant heat of the hearth, a sensation that encourages the body to relax completely. This was a period that valued the interior life. Because the outside world was often difficult to traverse, the home became a sanctuary of reflection. Men and women would sit in the dim light, the silence of the snow outside acting as a natural soundproof layer that muted the rest of the world. It was a time when you truly understood the value of shelter, not as a luxury, but as a fundamental sacred necessity. In this quiet you are invited to let your own thoughts settle just as the snow settles upon the thatched roofs, layer by gentle layer, until the world outside is nothing but a soft white hush. As twilight deepened into the long dark hours of the winter night, the light within the home shifted. Without the benefit of modern electricity, the evening was governed by the flicker of flame. A single tallow candle or a small oil lamp became the primary companion of the night. Their light was not harsh or uniform. It was golden, soft and alive, casting a gentle dancing glow that made the room feel smaller, safer, and infinitely more intimate. In this dim, flickering light, the world seemed to hold its breath. This was the time for the quietest of activities. Perhaps someone sat by the hearth mending a tunic, the needle moving rhythmically through thick wool. Perhaps another was whittling a piece of wood, the soft sound of scraping adding a steady, comforting percussion to the crackle of the fire. There was no need for grand conversation. The silence was filled with a shared understanding, a quiet acknowledgement of the winter night passing by outside. Think of the texture of the night, the way the darkness seemed to press against the window panes, held back only by the thin glass and the warmth within. It is a comforting feeling, knowing that while the world outside is vast, cold, and uncertain, you are here in this protected space. The shadows in the corners of the room are soft, not scary. They are merely the places where the light rests, allowing your eyes to soften and your eyelids to grow heavy. There is a rhythm to this life that we have largely forgotten, the way the changing light dictated the movement of the day. As the candle burned lower, the household would naturally follow suit, their energy waning as the flame flickered and dimmed. It was a natural biological response to the environment, a perfect harmony between human activity and the cycle of the seasons. Let that same sense of rest wash over you now. The work is done, the hearth is warm, and the long peaceful night has arrived. All stories on this channel, Sleepy History with Benedict, are fictional, thoughtfully crafted around historical themes and inspired by real events, figures, and periods, reimagined for engaging storytelling. The content does not represent real individuals, actual events, or documented cases. Any resemblance to real people, animals, or events is purely coincidental. The culinary rhythm of the Little Ice Age was, above all, one of sustenance and patience. In a world where the frost often lingered, food was the ultimate manifestation of survival and love. Think of the heavy iron pots suspended over the dancing flames of the hearth, simmering for hours on end. Inside, root vegetables, turnips, parsnips and carrots, softened in the heat, mingling with grains and perhaps a small piece of salted meat, saved carefully for such a winter evening. There is a profound comfort in the scent of a long-simmered stew. It is a humble, earthy aroma that signals home. As the family gathered around the wooden table, the steam rising from the bowls was a welcome sight, a physical cloud of warmth against the biting chill of the evening. These meals were eaten slowly, with gratitude. There was no rush to clear the table, no frantic scrolling through devices, and no noise other than the clatter of spoons and the soft murmuring voices of loved ones. Imagine yourself sitting at such a table, the wood worn smooth by years of use. The cold is a distant memory, banished by the hearty warmth of the meal and the glowing embers of the fire. The outside world, with its frozen rivers and silent snow-covered paths, feels miles away. In this moment, there is only the simple pleasure of nourishment and the quiet company of the room. It is a grounding experience, one that reminds us that regardless of the era, the act of sharing a meal is the most human of rituals. As you listen, allow the memory of this warmth to cradle you. Feel the tension leaving your shoulders as you imagine the soft golden light reflecting off the pewter bowls. If this peaceful journey into history helps you unwind, please like, subscribe, and tap the bell. Your support helps us continue to craft these gentle, sleep-friendly moments, keeping the hearth fires of history burning bright for everyone to share. Let the sound of the crackling fire and the promise of a long, undisturbed night wrap around you. The world outside may be vast and cool, but in this space you are perfectly, securely warm. Listen closely to the silence. In the deepest parts of the Little Ice Age, silence was not merely the absence of sound, it was a presence all its own. When the snow fell heavy, thick, and unrelenting, it acted as a velvet curtain draped over the entire world. It muffled the distant lowing of cattle in the barns, softened the creak of the timber frames, and hushed the very movement of the wind. Outside, the landscape was a study in monochromatic beauty. Imagine a vast frozen lake, its surface as still as glass beneath a thick sheet of ice. The trees, stripped of their leaves, stood like silent sentinels, their branches bowed low under the weight of the frost. There is a specific quality to this winter quiet that is incredibly conducive to sleep. It is the sound of the world taking a long, deep, restorative breath. Occasionally you might hear the sharp, sudden crack of a branch bowing under the pressure of the ice, a sound that travels far in the crisp, cold air, only to be swallowed instantly by the vastness of the woods. It is a lonely sound, yes, but also a peaceful one, signifying that nature is following its natural course. Life is not gone, it is merely resting, hunkering down beneath the frozen surface, waiting for the inevitable gentle turn of the seasons. Think of how this stillness would feel if you were standing outside for just a moment, wrapped in a heavy fur cloak. The air is so cold it makes your chest tighten, but there is a clarity to it that cleanses the mind of every lingering worry. Then imagine stepping back into the warmth, the contrast between the absolute stillness of the frozen world and the cozy crackle of your home. It is that transition from the cold, vast wilderness to the small, warm sanctuary that makes the feeling of safety so profound. As you lie there now, let that image of the silent, snow-laden woods fill your mind. Let the scale of the landscape, the endless expanse of white, the slow, rhythmic falling of the flakes, remind you that the world is a large, gentle place. You are small, you are resting, and you are part of a cycle that has continued for centuries. Everything is quiet, everything is still, there is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. Just breathe and let the quiet of the past lead you deeper into rest. While the fields lay dormant under their white mantle, the interior of the home became a bustling hub of quiet, purposeful industry. This was the time when the rhythm of the household shifted from the labours of the soil to the delicate precision of the hands. Within the flickering circle of the hearth, families engaged in the essential tasks that ensured their survival and comfort for the coming year. Imagine the soft rhythmic clack of a wooden loom, a sound so steady and predictable that it mimics the heartbeat of the home. Here wool sheared from the hardy sheep during the warmer months was spun, carded, and woven into thick, warm cloth. The texture of the wool, sometimes coarse, sometimes surprisingly soft, was a tactile reminder of the connection between the people and the land. They worked not with the haste of modern production, but with the measured patience of those who understood that quality took time. In another corner, a craftsman might be shaping a piece of seasoned oak, the shavings curling away like ribbon under a sharp blade. There is a soothing quality to the sound of wood being worked, a soft whispering scrape that blends seamlessly with the crackling fire. This was the time for carving tools, repairing furniture, or meticulously mending the gear needed for the spring planting. Nothing was wasted, everything was valued, cherished, and preserved. Nearby, a row of candles sat on a sturdy table, cooling and hardening after being dipped repeatedly in molten wax. The scent of beeswax or tallow, faintly sweet and musky, filled the air, anchoring the household in the comforting rituals of preparation. It is peaceful to imagine these hands moving through their tasks. There is no urgency in their movements, only a deep ingrained knowledge of how to care for one's own. As you listen to these descriptions, let your own hands rest. Feel the weight of your own body settling into the mattress, as grounded and still as these ancient workshops. The work of the day is finished, the looms have slowed, the tools are put away, and the house is quiet. There is a sense of accomplishment in the air, a peaceful closure to the efforts of the day. Allow yourself to mirror this stillness, letting the mental image of these skilled, quiet hands guide your thoughts toward the gentle edge of sleep. As the last embers of the day's fire began to glow with a soft, dying light, the time for labour ended and the time for stories began. This was the true magic of the little Ice Age winters. With the wind howling against the heavy stone walls and the world outside lost in a swirling dance of snow, the family would draw closer. In the absence of books for everyone and the lack of external distractions, the spoken word became their greatest treasure. Imagine the atmosphere. The room is dim, illuminated only by the hearth's pulse. An elder, a grandfather with a face etched by the seasons, or a grandmother with hands that have seen 1,000 harvests, begins to speak. Their voice is low, rhythmic, and perfectly suited to the slow passing of a winter night. They speak of ancient kingdoms, of clever spirits hiding in the woods, or perhaps of how their own ancestors survived the great winters of the past. There is a unique rhythm to these oral histories. The stories are not rushed, they meander like a frozen stream, pausing often to emphasize a point, to ask a rhetorical question, or simply to let the listeners absorb the wonder of the tale. The children, tucked under heavy wool blankets, listen with wide, dreamy eyes, their breathing slowing to match the pace of the narrative. Even the adults find comfort here, for these stories connect them to something much larger than their current struggles, a lineage of resilience and hope. This is a beautiful time to remember why we gather in these digital spaces as well. If you have found yourself drifting into a state of deep, quiet relaxation, and if these historical journeys have brought a sense of peace to your evening, please consider supporting this channel. By liking, subscribing, and tapping the bell, you help ensure that these stories continue to be told, creating a sanctuary of calm for everyone who seeks it. Your interaction is the spark that keeps our shared hearth fire glowing. Let the storyteller's voice in your mind continue to drift, becoming soft and indistinct like the falling snow. You are safe, you are warm, and you are part of a long, beautiful line of people who have found comfort in the sound of a story well told. The details of the tale don't matter now, only the steady, lulling cadence of the words as they guide you further into the quiet landscape of your own mind. In the heart of the home, you were never truly alone. The boundary between the human world and the world of the creatures was much softer during the colder centuries. Often the livestock were kept in a barn attached to the main dwelling, sharing the warmth of their bodies with the family on the other side of a stone wall. If you were quiet enough, you could hear the low, rhythmic breathing of the cows or the soft shuffling of a goat in the neighbouring structure. It was a comforting communal sound, a reminder that all living things were weathering the winter together. Inside the main room, a faithful dog might be curled tightly at the base of the hearth, its coat thick and coarse, its eyes closed in a deep, dream-filled sleep. Watch the dog's steady rise and fall, see how it rests its head upon its paws, completely surrendered to the safety of the firelight. This animal companionship was essential, not just for the work they did, but for the presence they offered. Their warmth was a tangible gift, and their calm demeanour served as a silent invitation for the rest of the household to do the same. There is a primitive, soothing quality in the presence of these animals. It taps into a deep, instinctual part of our nature that understands safety in numbers, and the peace found in a sheltered, shared space. When you imagine this scene, feel that same sense of protection wrapping around you. You are part of this circle. The house is a vessel of warmth, sheltering you from the vast frozen night, while the steady, gentle presence of life continues all around you. The air in the room is still and warm, carrying the scent of dry straw and wood smoke. Every sound is soft, the faint creak of a timber beam settling, the occasional pop of a log in the fire, and the gentle sigh of the resting dog. Everything is in its right place, everything is as it should be. There is no urgency in the barn, no hurry in the house, and no restlessness in your heart. You are safe in this quiet, shared sanctuary, and you can let your guard down completely as you drift deeper into the stillness of the night. As the hour grew late, the rhythm of the household slowed to a near halt. It was time for the final ritual of the day, banking the fire. This was not a moment of sudden darkness, but a careful, deliberate act of preserving the heat for the morning. Someone would gently rake the glowing embers into a small mound, covering them with a layer of fine grey ash. The fire did not go out, it merely went to sleep, glowing with a soft, persistent warmth that would hold through the night. As the light in the room dimmed to a faint, pulsing red, the shadows seemed to lengthen and soften. The world outside the stone walls felt further away than ever. There is a profound sense of release in this moment, the acknowledgement that the day is done, the work is satisfied, and the time for rest has arrived. It is a moment of total surrender to the peace of the night. Think of how the room feels as the last bit of direct light fades. The air remains warm, but the darkness brings a deeper level of quiet. This is the moment to let go of any remaining thoughts, any lingering plans, or any concerns about the world outside. The fire is banked, the house is still, and you are in a space of perfect safety. If you have enjoyed this journey through the quiet winters of the past, please remember that your presence here is a vital part of our community. If you haven't yet, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and tapping the bell. Your support allows us to keep building these quiet, historical retreats for you, night after night. Thank you for being a part of this peaceful tradition. Now, as the room grows dim and the quiet becomes absolute, simply follow the example of the fire. Let your own internal light grow soft and steady. There is nothing left to do. The night is yours, and the peace of the past is your companion. Let yourself drift, completely and naturally, into the comfort of a deep, restoring rest. Now that the fire is banked and the house has settled into a deep, heavy quiet, imagine the final transition of the night. In the soft, cool air of the bedroom, the heavy wool blankets provide a cocoon of warmth that seems to insulate you from the very passage of time. There is a weight to these quilts, a comforting, grounded feeling that holds you firmly to the bed, letting your muscles finally uncoil and release their hold on the day. Outside, the frost continues its slow, patient work, but here, in the heart of your sanctuary, you are protected. The silence is absolute, broken only by the rhythmic, steady sound of your own breathing. It is the same breathing that has sustained humanity through every winter in history, a biological anchor that connects you to the generations who slept in these same cold, quiet conditions centuries ago. You are not alone in this rest. You are participating in a timeless, universal rhythm of renewal. Let the darkness be a soft velvet curtain. It is not empty space, it is a restorative medium, a place where your mind can finally stop chasing thoughts and simply exist. As you lie there, feel the floor beneath the house, the earth beneath the foundation, and the vast, peaceful winter landscape extending out into the distance. Everything is still. Everything is at peace. Your eyes grow heavier with every passing second, your mind becoming as smooth and clear as a frozen pond. The history we have explored, the hearths, the looms, the stories, and the quiet resilience of those who lived through the Little Ice Age now fades into the background, leaving behind only a residue of calm. You have travelled far, and now you have arrived at the only place that matters, a state of deep, undisturbed rest. This content is inspired by and adapted from public domain works available through Project Gutenberg. The material has been transformed through original narration, editing, and storytelling to create a unique experience for educational and entertainment purposes. The deep, dreamless hours of the night have passed, and the world has undergone a silent transformation. Even while you slept, the sky outside was turning a soft, pale grey, and the snow continued to descend, layer by delicate layer, until the entire landscape was draped in an unbroken mantle of white. There is a specific kind of morning light that only arrives in the heart of winter, a thin, luminous quality that seems to shimmer against the snow, casting long, ethereal blue shadows across the drifts. Imagine rising slowly from your warm bed, your movements unhurried and fluid. You make your way to the small frosted window, the air in the room crisp and refreshing as you wipe away a circle of frost from the glass. The world reveals itself to you in a state of absolute purity. The village is hushed, the path to the well is obscured, and the trees are bent low, wearing their heavy, glistening winter coats. It is as if the world has been reset, cleared of all clutter and noise, left only with the essential beauty of the season. You open the heavy door just a crack, and the sharp, clean scent of cold air rushes in, a smell of pure ice and dormant earth. It is invigorating yet strangely calming. There is no urgency to begin the day's labour. Instead, there is a lingering moment of observation, a quiet appreciation of the stillness that remains. The first light of dawn is just beginning to touch the distant peaks, turning the white slopes into a soft glowing rose. In this moment, you are the only one awake, the only one witnessing this gentle, crystalline awakening of the world. The silence is profound, not the heavy, thick silence of the night, but a lighter, expectant quiet, as if nature itself is waiting to begin again. Let this scene of morning purity wash over you. Let the brightness of the snow and the stillness of the air fill your mind, replacing any remnants of restlessness with a sense of clarity and wide open peace. You are refreshed, you are centered, and you are ready to continue this journey through the quiet heart of the winter. With the world bathed in the soft morning light of the Little Ice Age, the quiet routine of the day begins not with noise, but with the steady, rhythmic tasks of survival. Imagine stepping out from the sanctuary of your home into the crisp, biting air. The snow beneath your boots has a specific sound, a soft, dry crunch that echoes in the stillness of the valley. Every breath you take is visible, a faint, swirling cloud of mist that dissipates into the clear, frozen atmosphere. Your first destination is the stone well, located a short walk from the threshold. The path is narrow, carved out through the deep drifts. As you approach the well, you notice the beautiful, delicate lacework of frost clinging to the stone rim. It is a work of art crafted by the cold itself. You reach out, your fingers brushed by the icy surface, and there is a grounding, tactile quality to the sensation that brings you completely into the present moment. Operating the wooden handle of the bucket requires a steady, deliberate motion. You hear the deep, resonant creak of the rope against the pulley, a sound that has been heard in this village for generations. The water comes up dark, clear, and impossibly cold, reflecting the pale sky above like a polished mirror. Carrying the full, heavy bucket back toward the warmth of the house, You feel the weight against your side, a solid, tangible reminder of the simple necessities that sustain life. These actions, the walking, the lifting, the observation of the frost, are not chores but meditations. In the stillness of the winter morning, each movement is intentional. There is a profound peace in knowing exactly what needs to be done and doing it with patience and care. As you return to the door, the warmth of the hearth calls to you, a golden light beckoning from within the stone walls. Let this feeling of purposeful, quiet action stay with you. You are centered and grounded. The cold may be present, but it is a clean, honest element that sharpens the mind and clarifies the spirit. Carry this sense of calm back inside where the fire is waiting, and let yourself sink once more into that deep, enveloping tranquility that makes this historical journey so restorative. Back inside the stone walls, the world shifts back to a place of warmth and comfort. The heavy door swings shut, sealing out the biting breath of the winter morning, and for a moment you simply stand in the entryway, savouring the transition. The contrast is immense. The crisp, sharp cold of the outside world gives way to the thick, comforting stillness of the interior, where the air is soft with the scent of pine smoke and the promise of a long, slow day. The morning light is beginning to find its way through the small leaded window panes. Because the sun sits so low in the sky during these colder centuries, the light enters the room at a shallow angle, creating long golden bars of brilliance that stretch across the packed earth floor. Watch as this light touches the grain of the wooden table, making it glow with a deep honeyed warmth, or how it illuminates the dust motes dancing in the air, suspended in a slow hypnotic ballet. This is a time for quiet reflection before the main activities of the day take hold. Perhaps a kettle is placed back on the iron crane over the hearth, the water beginning to hum with the soft bubbling sound of heating. It is a gentle domestic music that invites you to sit and be still. The room is not empty. It is filled with the presence of everything that makes a home: the hand-woven baskets in the corner, the bundles of dried herbs hanging from the rafters, the simple, honest tools of the household. There is a profound sense of continuity here. You are not just living in the present moment, you are stepping into the rhythm of a life that has been lived this way for years. The feeling of safety is absolute. You are shielded, you are nourished, and you are surrounded by the simple, enduring beauty of a life well tended. As you settle into this warmth, let your thoughts mirror the slow, golden drift of the light across the floor. There is nowhere else you need to be. The day is unfolding at its own pace, a gentle expansion of the peace you felt during the night. Allow your breathing to remain slow and steady, matching the quiet, pulsing life of the hearth, and let the contentment of this morning sanctuary wrap around you like a heavy protective cloak. As the morning light settles firmly into the room, the rhythm of the household finds its cadence in the small essential tasks that ensure comfort throughout the coldest months. Think of the bundles of dried herbs hanging from the darkened rafters, sage, thyme and rosemary, their earthy scents mingling with the lingering aroma of the wood smoke. Reaching up to gather a handful of these fragrant leaves, you feel the dry, crisp texture of the harvest, a concentrated essence of the summer that has been saved for this very moment. In the corner there is a basket of root vegetables, onions with their papery, golden skins and sturdy, thick-walled turnips. A common task in the quiet of the morning is to carefully clean and sort these stores, checking each one to ensure the supply remains sound. There is a deeply satisfying meditative quality to this work. Your hands move with practiced grace, wiping away the remnants of the earth, setting aside what is needed for the day's pot, and arranging the rest with care. Imagine the sensation of peeling back the layers of a large, firm onion, the sharp, clean scent briefly filling the air before fading into the background of the room. Everything is methodical. There is no rush, no pressure to finish, only the quiet focus on the task at hand. It is a way of honouring the food, recognising it as a gift that sustained the household through the growing season and will now sustain them through the winter's bite. You might also be preparing a simple dough, the flour dusting the wooden table like a fine white frost. The act of kneading is soft and rhythmic, a gentle pressure of the palms, a folding, a turning. As the dough takes shape, becoming smooth and resilient under your touch, you feel a sense of creation and preparedness. You're not just making a meal, you're building a small, warm fortification against the cold. As you perform these quiet duties in your mind, notice how your own body mimics this feeling of stability. Your breathing remains slow, your posture is relaxed, and your mind is clear of all noise. You are anchored in the present, connected to a long, enduring tradition of care and preservation. There is a peaceful pride in these small daily acts of life. Everything is well ordered, everything is safe, and you are perfectly, quietly content as the morning continues its slow, tranquil progress. Look back toward the small leaded window, where the morning light has now fully claimed the room. Beyond the glass, the landscape of the Little Ice Age remains in its state of profound white hibernation. The fields, which were vibrant with green during the short growing season, are now vast, undisturbed canvases of snow. There is a strange, hypnotic quality to the way the wind has sculpted the drifts overnight, curving soft ridges that look like frozen waves caught in a moment of stillness. In the distance, you can see the faint silhouette of a fence line, partially buried, its wooden posts capped with thick, rounded mounds of frost. It is a quiet reminder of human boundaries in an environment that has temporarily claimed them back. The silence of the outdoors is heavy. It is a silence that feels thick enough to touch, wrapping the earth in a protective layer of stillness. No birds chirp, no insects hum, only the distant occasional creak of a tree limb adjusting to the weight of the ice. This view from the window is the perfect invitation to let your mind drift, because you are inside, behind the protection of thick stone and sturdy timber. The cold outside does not feel threatening. Instead, it feels majestic and calm, a vast frozen sleep that mirrors the rest you are finding for yourself. You are witnessing a world that has slowed down to its absolute core, stripped of the distractions of growth and harvest, reduced to the elemental beauty of light, shadow, and frost. Watch the way the light catches the tiny floating crystals of ice in the air, creating a subtle, shimmering effect. It is as if the very atmosphere is sparkling with quiet potential. There is no need for you to be out there in the cold. Your place is here, in the gentle warmth, watching the slow passage of the morning. Feel how your own breathing synchronizes with the stillness of the landscape outside, a steady, unhurried rhythm that carries you further away from the stresses of your day. Everything is quiet, everything is still, and everything is waiting for you to simply drift into deeper, more profound comfort. As the afternoon progresses, the sun begins its early, slow descent, casting a different quality of light across the interior. The golden bars of morning have deepened into a soft amber glow that touches the corners of the room with gentle warmth. In the Little Ice Age, the days were short, and this early twilight was a signal to pull back, to consolidate the warmth of the home, and to prepare for the long, quiet evening ahead. Listen to the subtle shifts in the soundscape of the house. The fire, having been tended throughout the day, now burns with a steady, pulsing intensity. Its crackle has softened, becoming more of a rhythmic hum, a heartbeat that anchors the entire room. If there were any minor noises, the scratching of a pen on parchment, the soft shuffle of fabric, the settling of the timbers, they have all faded into the background, leaving behind a profound, almost velvet-like silence. You find yourself drawn to the hearth, not because it is cold, but because it is the natural centre of gravity. You sit perhaps on a sturdy wooden bench or a rug of thick wool, and you let your gaze rest upon the embers. Watch the way the light flickers, changing from deep orange to a soft glowing red. There is an hypnotic quality to this movement. It is a visual lullaby, pulling your attention away from the world outside and centering it entirely on the warmth right here, in this moment. This is the transition time, the border between the activity of the day and the rest of the night. It is a time to let go of any remaining tension in your shoulders, your neck, your hands. Feel your body becoming heavier, sinking more deeply into the comfort of your seat. The air is still, the fire is steady, and the world outside, with its ice and snow, feels incredibly distant and unimportant. You are safe, you are contained, you are exactly where you need to be. Let the light in the room grow dimmer as the shadows lengthen. There is no need for artificial illumination yet. The fire provides all that is required. The darkening room offers a sense of privacy, a sanctuary where you can finally stop performing, stop thinking, and stop doing. Just sit, just breathe, and let the quiet amber light of the dying afternoon lead you deeper into a state of total, blissful relaxation. Take a moment to notice the objects that surround you in this quiet winter home. They are not mass-produced or fleeting. They are items of substance, worn smooth by the touch of generations. Look at the wooden bowl resting upon the table, carved from a single piece of maple, its surface polished by years of use and the natural oils of the hands that held it. When you trace the grain with your fingertips, you feel the history etched into the wood, a tactile connection to the past. There is a weight to the things in this room that modern objects simply do not possess. The heavy iron kettle, the thick ceramic mugs that retain the heat of the hearth, the sturdy stools carved from oak, everything here is built to last, designed with a purpose and a deep respect for the materials. These are not distractions, they are the anchors of your environment, holding you steady in the quiet flow of the afternoon. Think of the sensation of picking up a warm mug. The heat radiates through your palms, a soothing, gentle energy that travels from your hands to your heart. It is a simple, primal pleasure, one that has remained unchanged across centuries. There is a profound sense of satisfaction in using something that is solid, functional, and well made. It promotes a feeling of stability, a sense that even when the world outside is vast, cold, and unpredictable, your immediate world is ordered and secure. Observe how the light catches the surface of a silver spoon or the curve of a glass vial. These small bright spots in the dimming room seem to hold the remnants of the day's light, glowing softly against the darker wood of the furniture. Everything is in its place, waiting for the evening to arrive. There is no clutter, no chaos, only the simple, honest presence of things that have served their purpose well. Let this appreciation for the tangible world ground you even further. As you look around, feel your breathing slow down to match the stability of these objects. They are permanent, they are solid, and they are peaceful. Let your mind become just as still, just as rooted. You are drifting in a space where time feels suspended, where every small detail is a reminder of the quiet, enduring beauty of a life lived in harmony with the hearth. As the evening settles in and the temperature outside begins to drop even further, there is a singular, unmatched pleasure in the texture of the home. Think of the heavy, hand-woven wool blankets draped over the back of a chair or piled upon the bed. These are not thin, synthetic fabrics. They are thick, dense, and woven with a patience that you can feel with every fibre. When you imagine wrapping yourself in one, feel the weight of it, the comforting, grounded pressure that settles over your shoulders and chest. There is something inherently healing about the weight of a thick blanket. It mimics a gentle, protective embrace, a physical boundary that separates you from the cold and creates a personal microclimate of pure, radiated warmth. As you tuck the edges in, feel the air being sealed out and the heat of your own body being trapped, growing steadily more comfortable with every passing second. This is the sensation of true shelter. The pillows, too, filled with soft dried straw or perhaps the down of geese, offer a gentle support that encourages the head to relax and the neck to lose all tension. When you lay back, feel the way the fibres yield to your shape, cradling you in a way that makes the rest of the world fall away. The fabric, perhaps a cool, crisp linen that has been bleached by the sun and smoothed by the iron, provides a perfect, refreshing contrast to the warmth of the blankets. Imagine the tactile details, the slight coarseness of the wool, the smooth, cool slip of the linen, the soft, muffled sound of the fabric shifting as you settle. Every sensation is designed to pull you deeper into a state of surrender. You are creating a nest, a private, intimate space that exists solely for your restoration. The outside world, with its frozen landscape and biting winds, has no access here. You are completely surrounded by comfort, shielded by layers of human care and traditional wisdom. As you let yourself sink into this tactile peace, feel your body becoming heavy, mirroring the weight of the blankets. Your muscles are finally letting go, uncoiling like a long-held spring. There is no longer any need to hold yourself up, no need to be vigilant or active. You are supported, you are warm, and you are enveloped in the quiet, restorative embrace of the winter night. Just breathe, letting the warmth deepen and the silence grow as you drift further into the stillness. Now that the darkness has fully embraced the world, the soundscape shifts into something even more delicate. Close your eyes if you haven't already, and listen to the silence of the little Ice Age night. It is not an empty silence, it is filled with the soft, almost imperceptible music of the house and the frozen world outside. Listen to the very faint, rhythmic sound of the fire. The logs have settled into a state of glowing permanence, occasionally releasing a tiny musical pop as the wood contracts in the heat. It is a steady, reassuring pulse, a sound that has signaled safety to humans for thousands of years. It tells your brain that you are cared for, that the cold is held at bay, and that it is time to quiet your thoughts. Outside, the snow continues to fall. If you listen with the utmost attention, you can almost hear the soft, whispered descent of the flakes, a gentle velvet patter against the window pane that is so quiet it barely registers. It is the sound of the world being smoothed over, of every jagged edge and harsh noise of the day being covered by a soft white shroud. It is a sound that invites you to do the same, to smooth over your own thoughts, to soften the edges of your mind, and to let go of the day's worries. Sometimes you might hear the deep, resonant creak of a timber beam in the roof, adjusting to the drop in temperature. It is a slow grounding sound, a reminder that the house is solid and steadfast, standing firm against the elements. These sounds are not disturbances, they are the lullabies of the winter night, rhythmic and constant. They serve as a backdrop to your own breathing, which by now has become deep, slow, and completely effortless. There is a sense of absolute harmony here. The cold outside and the warmth inside are locked in a peaceful, eternal dance, and you are the witness to this stillness. As you listen, let the sounds of the fire and the falling snow become the only things that exist in your awareness. They are leading you down into a state of profound, restorative rest, where the only requirement is to exist, to breathe, and to drift deeper into the comforting, silent depths of the night. The night has fully deepened, but there is no sense of finality here. The fire has dimmed to a gentle, pulsing amber glow, and the house has settled into a rhythm so quiet, so perfectly still, that you feel as though you have stepped outside the flow of ordinary time. The world of chores, of tasks, and of historical echoes has quieted down, leaving you in a state of suspended, peaceful equilibrium. You are not arriving at an end, you are merely drifting deeper into a vast, open landscape of rest. Imagine yourself floating on the surface of a calm, frozen lake, or lying in a soft, snow-covered meadow beneath a sky filled with infinite sparkling stars. There is no urgency to wake, no need to move, and no requirement to return to the world of noise. You have found a place where you can simply exist, a sanctuary that belongs only to you. The silence here is not empty. It is rich, textured, and infinitely deep. It is the silence of the earth resting, of the trees waiting, and of your own spirit finally finding its natural, unhurried pace. Feel your breathing align with the stillness of the room. With each breath, you find that the walls of the house seem to soften and recede, allowing you to drift out into the expansive, protective embrace of the winter night. There is nothing to resolve, nothing to plan, and nothing to hold on to. The memories of the day, the glowing embers, the scent of wood smoke, the soft textures of wool and linen remain as a gentle, comforting tapestry behind your eyes. They are there whenever you wish to revisit them, but for now they are simply background light, guiding you further into the gentle, dark, and restorative quiet. Everything is steady, everything is still, and everything is open. The night is not a barrier, it is a bridge to a deeper, more profound kind of peace. Let your mind become as wide and clear as the winter horizon, letting all thoughts dissolve into the soft velvet silence. You are safe, you are held, and you are drifting, deeper, slower, and more peacefully into the beautiful, unending stillness of the night. As you drift in this open space, the walls of the house seem to blur, and you find yourself stepping beyond the threshold into the heart of the winter night. But it is not cold. It is a dreamlike expanse where the air feels like soft silk against your skin. You are walking through a landscape that exists in the memory of the land, a place where the snow glows with a soft internal luminescence, and the stars above are so close you feel you could reach up and touch their shimmering light. There is no path to follow, and yet you know exactly where to go. You are moving toward a gentle, distant hum, the sound of the earth breathing. Each step you take is silent, your feet lifting and landing with a lightness that feels almost like flying. As you move, the shadows of the ancient trees sway slowly, not in the wind, but in a rhythmic cosmic dance that has continued for centuries. You come across a grove of trees whose branches are coated in ice, but instead of harsh, jagged crystals, they are adorned with soft, glowing pearls of light. This is the storehouse of winter's quietude. Each pearl holds a memory of a peaceful moment, the crackle of a long-extinguished hearth, the soft rustle of an old book's pages, the warmth of a sunbeam on a quiet afternoon. You are free to wander among them, to let these images float through your mind like gentle clouds. In this dream state, you are both the traveller and the observer. You watch yourself, a figure of calm, moving through a world that is completely blissfully at peace. There is no history to record here, no labour to perform, and no time to measure. You have stepped into the eternal present of the season. Take a moment to simply observe this inner landscape. See how the light of the stars reflects in the stillness of the snow, creating a mirrored world above and below. Let your awareness expand to include this vast, quiet beauty. You are connected to everything: the earth, the sky, the stars, and the ancient, enduring peace of the winter. Breathe it in, and let yourself float further into this gentle, unending expanse. There is nothing to wake for, and nowhere else to be. You are home. As you continue your gentle journey through the dream landscape, you find yourself standing before an ancient, heavy wooden door set directly into the side of a snow-covered hill. There is no lock, no latch, only a quiet invitation. As you push the door open, the sharp, crisp air of the winter night is replaced by the comforting, grounded scent of parchment, dry ink, and aged leather. You have entered the silent library, a sanctuary where history itself seems to come to rest. The room is vast, with stone arches that disappear into the soft velvet shadows above. Every wall is lined with shelves reaching toward the ceiling, filled with leather-bound volumes that hum with the quiet resonance of centuries. Candles, fixed in wrought-iron sconces, burn with a steady golden flame that never flickers, casting a warm amber glow upon the long, polished tables. Here time has no meaning. You walk slowly across the floor, your footsteps soundless, and as you pass the shelves, you can almost hear the soft, rhythmic rustle of pages turning, the sound of stories settling into their permanent homes. There is no need to read them. Their presence alone is enough to soothe the mind. Each book is a vessel of peace, a collection of human experiences that have been distilled into wisdom and silence. You find a heavy velvet-backed chair near the hearth, where a fire of birchwood burns with a soft blue-gold intensity. As you sink into the chair, you feel the weight of your own body being supported, held by the same comfort that has welcomed scholars and dreamers for generations. The room is entirely yours. You are the sole guardian of this stillness, the only one present in this temple of quiet reflection. Let the atmosphere of the library fill you. Feel the texture of the air, so still, so thick with knowledge and history. As it slows your thoughts down to a gentle pulse, you are surrounded by the legacy of the past, yet you are completely detached from the weight of it. Here in the heart of the winter night, the only thing that matters is the absolute unhurried peace of being. Sink deeper into the chair, let your eyes soften, and let the wisdom of the silence wash over you. You remain within the sanctuary of the silent library, where the air is cool yet fragrant with the comforting dusty scent of centuries-old paper and dried parchment. Because you are the only soul here, the silence takes on a physical weight, a soft velvet presence that presses gently against your skin, encouraging every muscle in your body to loosen its hold and surrender to the stillness. Take a slow, deliberate walk along the towering shelves. The books are not merely objects, they are witnesses to history, bound in cracked leather, stained with the oils of countless hands, and secured with tarnished brass clasps that catch the faint, flickering light of the candlelight. Run your fingertips lightly across the spines. Feel the subtle indentations of gold leaf lettering words that were once vibrant and alive, now settled into a peaceful, eternal slumber. There is an immense quiet power in this place, a collective wisdom that asks for nothing from you, but offers you everything, a sense of belonging to a long, enduring lineage of quiet thinkers, dreamers, and seekers of rest. Find your way to the grand, arched window at the far end of the hall. Unlike the windows in your cottage, this one is immense, framing a view that defies description. Outside, the snow is not just falling, it is dancing in a slow, cosmic waltz, illuminated by a moon that hangs large and silver in the indigo sky. The contrast between the intense golden warmth of the library and the vast ethereal cold of the world outside creates a sensation of being perfectly centered. You are protected, shielded, and safe, floating in the very heart of the winter. Observe the way the candlelight plays upon the surfaces of the room. It catches the edges of dark wooden tables, dances upon the polished stone floor, and reflects softly in the glass of the window, merging the inner firelight with the outer starlight. It is a harmonious blending of two worlds, and you are the bridge between them. Notice the rhythm of the candles, how they burn with an unhurried, steady grace. Allow your own heartbeat to sync with this cadence. Breathe in the silence, breathe out any lingering restlessness. There is an entire lifetime of quiet to be experienced in this space. You might choose to open a heavy leather-bound volume, feeling the weight of it upon your lap, its pages brittle and golden with age. You don't need to read the words, simply listening to the soft rhythmic sound of the paper as it shifts beneath your touch is a melody of its own. It is the sound of time folding in on itself, becoming as soft and light as a falling feather. Every sense you possess is focused on this profound stability. You're not waiting for anything, you're not arriving anywhere. You are simply existing in a state of absolute profound equilibrium, nestled within the comforting embrace of history, while the snow continues its gentle, unending cycle outside. As you linger in the heart of the library, the sense of time begins to lose its sharp, defining edges. You notice, tucked away on a deep mahogany desk, an antique hourglass. The sand within it is not grey or white, but a soft, glowing gold, falling with a sound so delicate it is more like the ghost of a whisper than the movement of matter. Watch it for a moment, the rhythmic hypnotic flow from the upper bulb to the lower. It does not measure the passing of time here. Instead, it seems to measure the depth of the peace you are currently breathing in. With every grain that settles, your world grows quieter, more anchored, more profoundly still. Beside the hourglass lies a map hand-drawn on heavy cream-coloured vellum. The ink made from crushed oak galls and minerals has faded into soft sepia tones. Tracing the lines of the cartographer, the swirling coastlines, the intricate mountain ranges, the delicate compass rose. You feel a sense of travel without movement. You are navigating the landscape of a different age, yet your body remains cradled in the deep velvet armchair, held fast by the library's unwavering warmth. This map is a record of a world that once was, and here, in this sanctuary, that world remains preserved, safe from the wear of time and the erosion of change. The light in the room seems to shift, becoming even softer as the candles burn down, their flames casting long, flickering shadows that dance like slow-moving spirits against the rows of books. The air feels thicker now, saturated with the quiet energy of 1,000 stories left untold. You realize that you have ceased to look for meaning in these objects. You are merely acknowledging their presence. You are learning the language of the inanimate, the quiet wisdom of wood, stone, parchment, and glass. They are not demanding your attention. They are simply offering you their stillness as a foundation for your own. Notice the sensation of your hands resting on the armrests. The fabric is heavy, woven with threads of deep crimson and gold, soft under your touch, providing a tactile anchor to the present. You are becoming part of this library, a living element of its vast, quiet architecture. The boundary between your own awareness and the room around you is thinning. You are no longer just an observer standing within the library. You are the library. Your mind has become a vast, high-vaulted space of calm. Your thoughts have become the long, golden bars of candlelight, and your breathing has become the gentle, rhythmic turning of pages. There is a profound sense of completeness in this state of being. You are not restless, you are not searching, and you are not wanting. You are simply existing in a state of absolute grace, where the slow falling of the golden sand, the soft glow of the embers, and the weight of the silence around you are all parts of the same perfect, unending lullaby. Let yourself stay in this moment for as long as you need. There is no morning to wake for, no task to complete, and no horizon to reach. You are already exactly where you need to be, home within the infinite quiet. The heavy doors of the library yield to your touch, and you step out into a night that is breathtaking in its clarity and grace. You find yourself standing in a garden that exists somewhere between the dream of winter and the reality of the stars. Though you are outside, the air does not bite. It carries a sweet, crisp freshness that feels like a soft caress against your skin, invigorating yet deeply soothing. The garden is bathed in a celestial, silvery luminescence. The moon, hanging full and bright in the velvet indigo sky, casts a glow so steady that every branch of the sleeping trees is outlined in delicate, shimmering frost. The snow beneath your feet is pristine, an unbroken blanket that catches the moonlight and turns the entire landscape into a field of diamonds. Yet as you walk, the snow feels warm, yielding softly with each step, as if the ground itself were welcoming you into its quiet, nighttime embrace. There is a gentle, rhythmic sound here. Not the wind, but the soft, musical chime of ice crystals touching one another in the still air, like tiny, crystalline bells ringing in a distant, ethereal cathedral. Every element of this garden feels alive with a slow, deliberate peace. The stone benches, carved with patterns of ferns and ivy, are covered in a fine layer of silver dust, and the central fountain, though stilled by the frost, holds the reflection of the moon like a polished mirror of obsidian. You realize that this garden is a place of profound reflection. There are no shadows here that can hide anything. Everything is illuminated in the honest, gentle light of the moon. It invites you to be entirely yourself, without pretense, without hurry, and without any expectation from the world. You are simply a part of the garden's stillness, a pulse within the larger heartbeat of the earth. As you wander slowly along the winding paths, notice how your breathing harmonizes with the expansive silence of the night. You are not cold, for you are wrapped in the soft, protective atmosphere of this lunar sanctuary. The stars above seem to pulse in time with your own steady heart, creating a bridge of light between you and the furthest reaches of the universe. Here, in this luminous space, you are completely at peace, grounded and free. You are a guest of the moon, a traveller in the garden of dreams, and you are welcome to linger in this silver light for as long as your spirit requires to find its deepest, most tranquil rest. Moving further along the silver-dusted path, you come to a quiet alcove enclosed by low, snow-capped stone walls. Here, in the heart of the winter garden, lies a bed of flowers that defy the cold. In the moonlight, they look like fragile sculptures of wax and velvet, their petals untouched by the frost, drinking in the cool, luminous air. These are the blossoms of the deep season, the hardy hellebore with its bowed, modest head, and the sturdy, dark-leafed camellias, their buds tight and promising. Bend down, not to touch them, but to simply behold the miracle of their existence. There is a profound lesson in their resilience. They do not fight the winter, they bloom within it. They embody a gentle, quiet strength, proving that life does not need the warmth of summer to be vibrant, nor the noise of the day to be beautiful. Their presence here, in the middle of this vast silver-lit night, fills you with a sense of calm reassurance. If they can flourish in this stillness, so too can you. Watch how the moonlight plays upon the frost-dusted leaves. It creates tiny, brilliant starbursts of light that flicker and fade as you change your perspective. It is a visual rhythm, as soft and steady as a lullaby. The air in this alcove feels even more intimate, sheltered by the stone from the outer expanse of the garden. It is a sanctuary within a sanctuary. Feel the temperature here. It is crisp, yes, but it is a restorative kind of cool that clears the mind of any lingering fog. Every breath you take feels cleaner, lighter, and more infused with the purity of the night. As you gaze at the sleeping, blooming flowers, your own heart rate slows to match their steady, quiet pace. You are becoming as still as they are. You are grounded in the earth, yet open to the vast silver beauty of the sky. The world outside of this garden, the world of ticking clocks, demands and fleeting worries, is 1,000 miles away. In this alcove there is only the silver glow, the sturdy endurance of the plants, and the soft rhythmic pulsing of your own peace. You are being held by the winter, cradled in a natural ancient silence that asks for nothing and provides everything. Stay here as long as you wish, letting the quiet beauty of the winter bloom within your own spirit, softening every thought until you are as tranquil, as beautiful, and as undisturbed as the flowers under the moon. Leaving the alcove, you drift toward the edge of the garden where the forest begins, an ancient grove of oaks and cedars that have stood as silent witnesses to the changing seasons for centuries. Their massive trunks, wide and textured with deep weathered furrows, are draped in thick mantles of snow. In the moonlight, they appear not as mere trees, but as grand, slumbering guardians of the night, their branches reaching up into the star-studded indigo sky like intricate frozen lace. As you approach, you feel a shift in the air. The silence here is deeper, more profound. It is the silence of roots deep within the warming earth, of sap moving with an agonizingly slow, rhythmic grace of life that is so sturdy it needs no movement to demonstrate its power. You find yourself standing before the largest of these ancients, a tree whose gnarled roots have heaved the earth into gentle, undulating mounds. You place a hand against the bark, not cold, but surprisingly solid and resilient. Even through your touch, you feel the slow, deep heartbeat of the earth itself, a pulse that has remained constant long before you arrived, and will continue long after you leave. There is a strange, hypnotic comfort in this presence. It reminds you that you too are part of this enduring cycle. You do not need to bloom all at once, nor do you need to move quickly. There is wisdom in standing still, in letting the snow gather around you, in trusting the quiet phases of existence. As you look up through the canopy, the stars seem to nestle among the frosted needles and twigs, creating a tapestry of light that flickers with the same ancient rhythm as the tree's own existence. The wind here is nothing more than a soft sigh, barely stirring the heavy boughs. It carries the faint, crisp scent of pine resin and ozone, a smell that is primal, clean, and deeply clarifying. With every inhalation you feel your thoughts being washed clear, polished until they are as bright and smooth as the moonlit ice. You are shedding the last vestiges of the day's restlessness. You are becoming as sturdy and serene as the oak, as grounded as the roots beneath your feet, and as expansive as the sky above. You are no longer a visitor in this winter night. You are a part of its stillness. The distinction between you and the landscape begins to fade. The silence of the trees is your silence. The peace of the earth is your peace. Here, in the shelter of the ancients, you are completely supported. There is nothing to hold you back, and nothing to hold you here, only the freedom to be, to breathe, and to drift deeper into this beautiful, timeless expanse. The night is infinite, and you have all the time in the world to simply rest. Leaving the ancient, slumbering giants of the forest behind, you walk slowly back toward the house. The path is illuminated by the soft, silvery glow of the moon, and as you approach, the silhouette of the cottage appears against the indigo sky. It looks like a lantern placed carefully in the vast velvet darkness, a beacon of warmth, safety, and human peace. You step onto the wide wooden porch, the planks beneath your feet polished smooth by years of use, and you settle onto a small bench sheltered from the open night. From this vantage point, the garden you just explored looks different. It is a tapestry of silver and blue, still and breathtakingly beautiful, yet you are no longer in it, you are watching over it. This shift in perspective brings a new, deeper sense of security. You are at the threshold, the perfect place to linger. Behind you, the house is quiet and expectant, its walls holding the memory of the firelight and the stories you have already lived today. Before you, the winter night stretches out, vast and infinite, but it cannot touch you here. Lean back and listen to the stillness of the porch. The wood creaks just slightly, a familiar grounding sound that speaks of the house settling into the rhythm of the night. Occasionally, a drift of snow slides gently from the roof, a soft hushed thump that punctuates the silence. These are the sounds of a home that is truly alive, a dwelling that knows its purpose is to protect, to warm and to hold. Take a deep breath of the air here. It is a mix of two worlds, the crisp, sharp purity of the frost outside and the lingering sweet scent of wood smoke that clings to the eaves. It is the smell of sanctuary. Feel the coolness on your face, but know that your body is perfectly warm, protected by layers of wool and the invisible thick blanket of the night air. There is no need to move, no reason to go inside just yet. The porch is a place of transition, a quiet space where you can sit and simply exist in the between. Observe the moon once more as it begins its slow, steady descent. Everything is moving in such slow motion that it feels as though the world has stopped to catch its breath. Let your own pace match this cosmic rhythm. Feel your pulse slowing down, your thoughts thinning out until they are as light as the falling snow. You are safe, you are held, you are exactly where the winter night intends for you to be, in the quiet, sheltered space between the vast, dreaming earth and the warm, resting hearth. There is nowhere else to be, and there is all the time in the world. You stand up slowly, the wooden planks of the porch quiet beneath your feet, and push the door open. You step back inside, and the door clicks shut behind you, sealing out the vast silver night and wrapping you instantly in a cloak of profound, familiar warmth. The house is waiting for you, quiet and steady, its presence a constant, comforting weight that surrounds you. You move to the hearth. The fire you tended earlier has now transformed into a bed of deep, pulsing embers, a soft, glowing carpet of charcoal that casts a warm, flickering amber light across the room. There is no longer any crackling, only a soft, radiant hum of heat that seems to rise from the floorboards themselves, permeating the very air of the room. This is the heart of the home, the source of its endurance, and it invites you to sit one last time. As you sink into the cushions, you feel your body finally, completely release. The last bit of tension in your shoulders, the final flicker of thought in your mind, all of it dissolves into the amber glow of the embers. You are not just resting, you are merging with the stillness of the house. The walls seem to breathe with you, the house itself acting as a gentle protective shell against the frozen world outside. You are a part of this room, and this room is a part of you. Listen to the house. There is no sound of the day, no demand of the morning, only the soft, slow rhythm of your own heart and the occasional gentle shift of the timbers as they settle in the quiet. It is a lullaby written in the language of wood, stone, and warmth. You have travelled through the winter garden, through the silent library, and under the ancient trees, but you have found that the furthest journey was always the one that brought you back here, to this exact moment of peace. Close your eyes. The amber light of the embers now glows behind your eyelids. A soft inner sun that lights the path to your dreams. You are held, you are safe. You are drifting on a sea of quietude, and the current is pulling you gently, steadily, deeper into the dark, soft and beautiful expanse of sleep. Every breath is a step further away from the waking world. Every heartbeat is a lullaby. Let yourself go. There is nothing left to do. The night is yours, and the rest you have earned is deep, complete, and endless. Sleep now, in the heart of the quiet, as the winter night watches over you with soft snow-laden stars. The transition is now effortless. You have passed through the hearth, through the walls of the cottage, and beyond the reach of the winter night, drifting into a space where time does not flow, it merely exists. You are floating in a gentle, warm currents of soft indigo light, a place where weight has no meaning and form is nothing more than a memory. Imagine yourself as a single calm thought drifting through an infinite quiet sea. The sharp edges of the world, the cold snow, the solid stone, the hard wood have all softened, melting into colours of velvet, twilight, and deep, comforting plum. You are no longer navigating, you are being carried. Like a feather drifting in a room where the air is perfectly still, you are suspended in a state of absolute graceful ease. Listen closely. If you strain to hear, you will find only the sound of your own existence, a low rhythmic resonance that vibrates through the very foundation of your being. It is the sound of the universe resting. It is the hum of the stars cooling, the slow pulse of the earth spinning in the dark, and the soft, steady rhythm of your own heart. They are all one and the same. There is no distinction between where you end and the piece begins. In this weightless space, memories of the library, the garden, and the embers are not images you look at, but sensations you wear. You are the warmth of the fire, you are the soft silver of the moonlight, and you are the quiet wisdom of the books. You have gathered them all, and now they are dissolving into the background of your consciousness, becoming the texture of your dreams. There is nothing to reach for. There is no destination waiting on the horizon. You have arrived at the center of the stillness. Feel how your mind has expanded, becoming as vast and open as the winter sky, yet as cozy and protected as the hearth you left behind. You are drifting deeper and deeper into a sea of profound restorative tranquility. You are safe in the hands of the night, cradled by the soft, endless rhythm of your own breath. You are drifting deeper still into the quiet, beautiful, and eternal now. The deep indigo ocean of your rest begins to shift, becoming tinged with the faint ethereal glow of a winter dawn. You are still drifting, still weightless, but the darkness around you is softening, turning from deep plum to a pale, luminous violet. It is the moment the world catches its breath between the dream and the light, a moment of exquisite, frozen stillness. Imagine the first light of day tracing the contours of the snow-covered landscape. It is not a harsh or demanding light, but a soft, pearlescent shimmer that washes over the frosted trees and the silent garden. You can feel this light in your mind, a gentle warming that diffuses the shadows, turning them into soft washes of grey and blue. The silence of the night has not disappeared. It has simply changed its quality. It is now the bright, expectant silence of a morning that is waiting, with infinite patience, for you to notice it. Listen to the world as it begins to stir in the most subtle of ways. Far off, the rhythmic soft crunch of crystalline snow indicates a solitary deer moving through the woods, a sound that is deliberate, slow, and perfectly in tune with the morning's peace. The air in your dream feels thinner now, infused with the sharp, clean scent of ice and pine, a freshness that awakens the spirit without ever disturbing the quiet. You remain in your state of grace, a part of this unfolding beauty. You are watching the world wake up, but you are in no hurry to join it. You are simply observing the transition, the way the stars lose their brilliance, the way the sky stretches from deep indigo to the pale, clear hue of a winter morning sky. Everything is happening in slow motion, a dance of light and air that honors the rest you have just completed. Stay within this threshold. There is a profound sense of clarity here, a stillness that is not empty but filled with potential. It is the quiet joy of a new beginning that hasn't yet started. You are safe, you are grounded, and you are entirely at peace. Let the soft morning light wash over your thoughts, smoothing out any remaining traces of the dream, leaving your mind clear, calm, and ready to exist in this new, beautiful space of morning. The day is yours, but for now you remain in the perfect, undisturbed cradle of the early hour. The soft, pale light of the morning has now found its way through the windows of the cottage, painting long, golden bars of warmth across the wooden floor. You are still within the dream, yet you are aware of the world shifting around you. The air in the room is no longer the thick, dark velvet of midnight. It is crisp, clean, and carries the faint, crystalline sparkle of the snow-bright morning outside. Watch how the light interacts with the space. It catches the dust motes dancing in the sunbeams, turning them into tiny, floating stars. The embers in the hearth, having glowed throughout the long night, are now softening into a fine grey ash, their duty fulfilled, leaving behind only the memory of their warmth. You feel the floorboards beneath you, cool and solid, and you hear the very faint, rhythmic creak of the house responding to the first gentle touch of the sun. It is a slow, awakening symphony of timber, light, and air. You find yourself sitting in the same chair by the hearth, yet the feeling is entirely new. The weight of the night has lifted, replaced by a sense of lightness, a clarity that feels like drinking cold, clear spring water. The garden outside is visible through the window, no longer a mysterious landscape of silver and shadow, but a vast white canvas waiting for the sun to paint it with colour. The trees stand tall, their branches laden with heavy, pristine snow that glistens with 1,000 diamonds. It is a world that has been washed clean, a world that has been reset. Take a moment to simply exist in this light. You do not need to stand, you do not need to move, and you certainly do not need to rush. This is the luxury of the early hour. It belongs entirely to you. Your mind is like the morning sky, expansive, uncluttered, and serene. Every thought that comes to you is slow, deliberate, and tinted with the soft gold of the dawn. You are not arriving at the day, you are simply allowing it to arrive at you. Feel the peace of the night time still lingering in your limbs, grounding you, even as the morning light invites you toward a new day. There is no urgency in the way the sun creeps across the room, no pressure in the way the day unfolds. You are perfectly in sync with the slow, majestic pace of the winter season. Breathe in the freshness of the morning, hold the quiet within your heart, and know that this stillness will remain with you, a steady guiding light throughout the hours to come. You are calm, you are centered, and you are ready to simply be. The morning light deepens, turning the pale gold into a richer, more honeyed hue. You move with a slow, deliberate grace to the small kitchen area, where a copper kettle sits atop the iron stove. You light a fresh fire, the birch twigs catching with a gentle, satisfying whisper. As the water begins to heat, the sound is like a soft, rhythmic tide, a low, musical hum that fills the silence of the house. You prepare a simple infusion, the dry, fragrant leaves of dried mint and rose-ships swirling into the water, releasing a steam that smells of summer meadows preserved in the winter's heart. You return to the window with the warm ceramic cup cradled in your palms. The surface of the tea is a dark, still pool reflecting the light of the morning. Feel the warmth radiating from the cup into your hands, a steady, pulsing heat that grounds you, making the world feel tangible and intimate. Take a long, slow breath of the steam. It is light, floral, and deeply clearing, washing away the last remnants of the dream world and anchoring you firmly in the present moment. Look out at the garden again. The frost has begun to retreat from the glass, creating intricate fern-like patterns that melt away in the rising sun. Outside, the snow is perfectly still, a silent white blanket that absorbs all sound, leaving the world around you in a state of soft, cushioned tranquility. Every branch is etched against the sky with crystalline precision. It is a world of absolute purity, a world that has been given a fresh, new beginning. You're not watching the day start, you're experiencing the quiet miracle of it. There is a deep, resonant satisfaction in the simple act of holding the tea, of watching the steam rise, of witnessing the light change. You feel a profound sense of gratitude for this stillness, for the ability to slow your mind down to the pace of the falling sunbeams. Your thoughts are no longer rushing forward to meet the day's tasks. They are circular, content, and resting entirely within the warmth of your hands. Sip the tea slowly. It is warm, comforting, and earthbound. With every sip, you feel a sense of ease settle into your bones. You are completely at home here. The house is quiet, the tea is warm, and the winter morning is unfolding with a grace that is both ancient and new. There is nothing to do, nothing to solve, and nothing to change. You are perfectly in sync with the quiet, unhurried rhythm of the season, and for this moment, that is more than enough. With your tea still radiating its gentle warmth, you reach for a heavy, cloth-bound volume resting on the window-sill. It is an old journal, its spine softened by time, and its corners worn smooth from years of quiet companionship. You open it, the cover yielding with a slow, contented sigh. The paper within is thick, cream-coloured, and carries the faint, nostalgic scent of pressed flowers and library dust. As you turn the pages, there is no urgency to grasp the meaning of the words. Instead, you focus on the texture of the ink, the graceful loops of a long-forgotten handwriting, and the delicate, hand-drawn sketches that grace the margins, ornate ferns, tiny woodland creatures, and celestial maps of the winter stars. Each page is a small, quiet landscape of its own. You trace the lines of a drawing with your fingertip, feeling the slight ridges where the quill once pressed into the paper, a physical connection to the person who sat here, perhaps in this very chair, many winters ago. The sound of the page turning is rhythmic, a soft, whispering shh that seems to harmonize with the faint hum of the wind outside. It is the sound of time unfolding. You realize that you are participating in a long, unbroken lineage of quiet moments. Just as you are finding rest now, so too did the author of this book, finding solace in the observation of the world and the simple grounding act of writing. The light through the window shifts slightly, turning the page a brilliant, shimmering white, then softening into a gentle amber as a thin cloud passes by the sun. Your mind mirrors this movement. Your thoughts are not racing, but drifting like slow clouds across a clear blue sky. You are fully immersed in the present, held by the weight of the book in your lap and the warmth of the tea at your side. There is an exquisite simplicity in this. You are not consuming information. You are savouring the essence of a peaceful existence. You are learning to read the silence, to find depth in the mundane, and to be content with the quiet passage of time. As you settle deeper into the chair, the book becomes a bridge between your own stillness and the vast, slow history of the winter. Every page turned is a deeper step into calm, a further release of any remaining tension. The morning is soft, the house is steady, and you are perfectly, beautifully still. A soft, rhythmic tapping draws your attention away from the pages. Looking up, you see that the sky has deepened into a soft, dove grey, and the first flakes of a new snowfall are drifting past the window. They fall with a mesmerizing, languid grace, each one a unique, crystalline miracle dancing in the stillness of the air. It is as if the sky itself is exhaling, a slow, gentle descent of white that settles upon the world without a sound. The landscape is undergoing a transformation. The sharp details of the garden, the dark branches of the oak, the stone edges of the garden path are being softened, blurred by the thickening veil of snow. It is a world being painted anew, layer by delicate layer. You watch one flake land against the glass, a tiny intricate star that lingers for a moment before melting into a perfect clear droplet. It is a quiet performance, a silent symphony of light and cold, designed for an audience of one. The atmosphere in the room seems to change in response to this dance. The air feels even more protected, more sacred. The warmth of the hearth and the gentle steam from your tea are the perfect counterpoint to the quiet intensity of the storm outside. You are tucked away in the very centre of the piece, witnessing the world return to its most fundamental state, quiet, white and still. Listen to the hush. The snow acts as a natural buffer, swallowing any distant sounds of the waking world, leaving only the soft ambient hum of your own breathing and the occasional gentle shift of the timbers in the house. It is the sound of absolute stillness, a rare and precious silence that invites you to go even deeper within yourself. You don't need to be anywhere else. You don't need to be anyone else. You are simply a witness to the beauty of the season. Feel the tension in your limbs melt away as you mirror the falling snow. Let your thoughts drift downward, settling slowly, quietly, onto the foundation of your own calm. You are as still as the garden, as soft as the falling flakes, and as grounded as the earth beneath the snow. The day is unfolding at the pace of the winter itself, unhurried, intentional, and profoundly graceful. Stay here, in this suspended moment, and let the quiet of the snowfall become the rhythm of your own heart. The snowfall outside has become a gentle, steady veil, turning the world into a quiet, white sanctuary. Inside, the fire in the hearth has awakened with a renewed, vibrant life. You lean back, setting the book aside, and close your eyes, allowing the sounds of the room to become your entire world. Listen to the fire. It is no longer a soft hum, but a lively, articulate conversation. You hear the crisp, rhythmic snap as the heat releases the sap within the birch wood, followed by a series of tiny, melodic crackles, like the sound of parchment being folded or dry leaves skittering across stone. It is a language of warmth, a primal melody that has accompanied humanity through the coldest nights of history. Each sound is a tiny spark of life, a brief, bright note in the grand, quiet symphony of your home. The rhythm of the fire is slow and unhurried. Snap, crackle, hush. It provides a perfect grounding cadence for your breathing. You find your chest rising and falling in time with the shifting embers, a heartbeat shared between you and the hearth. The heat itself seems to reach out, a gentle, invisible hand that strokes your skin, loosening the muscles in your neck, your shoulders and your jaw. With every crackle of the wood, you feel a little more weight fall away. The world outside, muffled by the deep layers of snow, feels like a distant dream, a story you once heard but no longer need to hold. Here in this circle of amber light and shifting shadows, there is only the present. There is only the warmth. There is only the song of the wood as it gives itself to the light. Let the sound of the fire pull you deeper into yourself. If a thought arises, a plan for later, a lingering memory of yesterday, simply watch it drift toward the fire. Let it catch the heat, and watch it dissolve, harmless and light as a cinder. You are not meant to do anything with these thoughts. You are here to simply witness the dance of the embers. You are safe. You are warm. You are resting in the heart of the winter, and the fire is keeping guard over your peace, singing you a lullaby of sparks and stillness. You rise with the fluid, unhurried grace of someone who has nothing left to accomplish today, and move toward the corner of the room where a high-backed armchair waits. Beside it stands a slender brass lamp with a silk shade of deep, midnight blue. You reach out and switch it on. The lamp glows with a soft, warm radiance, casting a pool of amber light that makes this corner feel like a secret, private world. The rest of the room recedes into soft shadows, and the winter light coming from the window outside blends with the lamp's glow, creating a beautiful, subtle contrast. Here the silence is thick, rich, and velvet soft. You sink into the armchair, the cushions moulding themselves perfectly to your form. You feel as though you are being held by the chair itself, supported and entirely at ease. The air here smells faintly of old books and beeswax, a grounding nostalgic scent that speaks of long quiet evenings spent in contemplation. You place your hands in your lap, fingers relaxed, and simply watch the way the blue shade catches the light, creating a soothing, tranquil halo around your space. It is a visual lullaby for your eyes, a colour that breathes peace. Listen to the quality of the silence in this corner. It is deeper than anywhere else in the house. The ticking of a distant clock, if there were one, would be muffled by the heavy drapes and the surrounding books. The world outside the window is completely silent now, buried under the white drift, leaving you entirely alone with your own breath and the steady, warm presence of the lamp. You feel a profound sense of solitude, but it is not lonely, it is complete. It is the peace of being entirely at one with your own company. You are a quiet observer of your own existence. Every muscle in your body is now completely surrendered to the comfort of the chair. You feel the slow, rhythmic expansion of your lungs, the gentle pulsing of your heart, and the quiet, steady hum of the lamp. Everything is synchronized. Everything is at rest. You are drifting into a state of awareness so gentle, so soft, that you are perfectly poised on the edge of a deep, beautiful clarity. Stay here within this circle of light and let the rest of the world fade until there is only this peace, this warmth, and this infinite, quiet moment. You are now in the space between waking and drifting, where the walls of the room have dissolved into a gentle, infinite expanse. The golden glow of the lamp has transformed into a soft, ambient light that surrounds you, not from a source, but from within the atmosphere itself. You are no longer sitting in a chair, you are floating in a calm, cool, and welcoming stillness. Before you, the thoughts of your day, the memories of the library, the garden, the fire, and the morning tea begin to manifest as slow-moving clouds of pale, luminescent snow. They drift through your awareness with the grace of falling petals, passing by without asking for your attention or demanding your analysis. You simply watch them. You are the sky through which these clouds pass, untouched by their shape, unaffected by their weight. Observe the way they drift. A memory of a page turning in an old book glides past as a delicate white wisp. The sound of the crackling fire follows, appearing as a pulse of warm amber light in the distance. They are not burdens, they are simply the textures of your experience, now being integrated into the silence. You realize that you can let them go as easily as you watch them pass. Each one that drifts away takes a little more of your mental energy, leaving your mind clearer, more open, and more profoundly spacious. There is no self here to worry about the future or reflect on the past. There is only the rhythm of the vast, quiet sky. Your breathing has become so slow, so deep, that it feels as though the universe itself is inhaling and exhaling through you. You are becoming a part of this endless, peaceful flow. The cold of the winter and the heat of the hearth have balanced within you, creating a perfect, neutral serenity. You are drifting through a cathedral of light and stillness. There is no urgency to arrive anywhere, for you are already in the heart of the infinite. Every drift of a thought cloud is a step deeper into the void of peace, a beautiful, soft descent into the very center of your own soul. You are safe, you are weightless, and you are entirely free. Let the last few clouds of awareness drift into the distance until there is nothing left but the calm, clear, and quiet brilliance of the dreamless deep. The clouds of thoughts have all drifted into the horizon of your mind, leaving behind a sky of perfect crystalline clarity. The light is no longer a colour or a warmth, it is simply existence, pure and unburdened. You have reached the final layer of the journey, the point where the distinction between you and the stillness has vanished entirely. There is nothing left to observe, there is nothing left to feel. You are a single steady pulse in the centre of an infinite velvet dark, a darkness that is not empty, but heavy with the promise of total restoration. It is the silence that existed before the first star was born, the peace that awaits at the end of the longest day. It is the final deep exhale of the world. Let your awareness dissolve into this vastness, like a single snowflake landing upon an ocean. Your last trace of wakefulness touches the surface of the deep, and you simply sink, gently, effortlessly, into the depths. There is no sound here. There is no time. There is only the sensation of being held by the vast, quiet architecture of the universe itself. You are no longer breathing, you are being breathed. You are no longer resting, you are the rest itself. All the history of the library, the light of the garden, the warmth of the hearth, and the clarity of the morning have all converged into this single absolute point of serenity. You are complete. You are finished with all searching, all striving, all thinking. Sleep now, fall into the soft, endless embrace of the dark. There is no tomorrow yet, and yesterday has been washed away by the tide of your own tranquility. You are floating in the absolute quiet. You are safe. You are drifting. You are gone into the deep, deep, perfect sleep. You move slowly from the corner by the hearth, your footsteps deliberate and quiet upon the wooden stairs. The staircase gives a gentle, familiar creak, a sound of structural comfort, signalling that the house is holding you steady. You reach the attic, a small, secluded sanctuary where the morning light filters through a slanted window, casting soft, pale rectangles across oak trunks and neatly stacked boxes from a different century. This is a space of quiet preservation. The air is still, carrying the faint, comforting scent of aging paper, dried pine, and the pressed wildflowers tucked between the pages of family diaries. You look around, and the wooden trunks, those silent witnesses to history, rest like guardians of forgotten narratives. These chests do not hold clutter. They hold the cadence of lives long past, linens embroidered by hand, porcelain tea sets with delicate, time-worn chips, and weathered maps of lands that people in this very house once dreamed of visiting. You settle into an old velvet-upholstered chair, the fabric worn soft by years of use. From this vantage point, you look through the skylight. Outside, the snow continues its slow, rhythmic descent, blurring the sharp edges of the world and sealing the cottage away from the demands of the modern day. This attic is a pocket of time, a place where the domestic habits of the past and the stillness of the winter present merge into one seamless experience. You do not need to open the trunks, merely sitting among them provides a deep sense of continuity. Listen to the wind as it brushes against the eaves, a soft, rhythmic sigh that carries the weight of history. It whispers of winters long ago, of generations who sat in these same shadows, perhaps nursing a warm drink and listening to the snow against the roof, just as you are doing now. You realize you are not alone. You are a continuation of this narrative, a quiet link in the long chain of peace that this house has fostered for decades. Release the tension in your shoulders and let your hands rest heavy in your lap. Do not search for a story within these artifacts. Let them exist simply as they are, anchors of calm. You are a guest of time, cradled by the architecture of the house and protected by the memory of those who came before. All of your daily worries have been left downstairs, drifting away like the ash in the hearth. Here, amidst the relics of the past and the soft, dusty light of the attic, you are simply existing. It is a slow, deep, and profoundly steady way to be. You decide to lean forward, your interest piqued by a small, leather-bound trunk sitting slightly apart from the others. It is modest, its surface etched with initials that have faded with the passing years. With a movement as slow and deliberate as the falling snow, you reach out and lift the heavy latch. The metal hinge gives a soft musical groan, a sound of long-held stillness finally finding release. Inside, tucked neatly beneath layers of protective yellowed tissue paper, you find an assortment of domestic treasures. There is a set of silver napkin rings, their surfaces tarnished by the decades, engraved with delicate ivy motifs, a silent testament to the shared meals and quiet conversations of a century past. Next to them lies a hand-stitched linen tablecloth, its embroidery telling the story of a meticulous, patient hand. As you lift it, a faint scent of dried lavender drifts upward, a ghost of a summer garden long ago, now preserved within the winter's quiet. These items are not merely objects, they are the quiet machinery of daily life. They speak of the rhythms of a household, the setting of a table, the anticipation of a gathered family, the deliberate care taken in the service of a meal. They evoke a time when dining was a deliberate ceremony, a tether to the home and to one another. There is no haste in these artifacts. They were crafted to last, to be passed from one generation to the next, bearing witness to the simple, enduring joy of shared sustenance. You hold one of the napkin rings in your palm. It is cool to the touch, solid and grounding. As you turn it over, you imagine the hands that once held it. Perhaps a mother preparing for a Sunday dinner, or a young person learning the art of hospitality. The connection is intimate and immediate. You feel the weight of their care, the quiet dedication they brought to their domestic life. It brings a new depth to your own sense of calm. You are part of a lineage of people who found meaning in the small, beautiful details of existence. Place the napkin ring back onto its nest of tissue paper and close the lid of the trunk. There is no need to disturb these relics further. Simply knowing they are here, safe within the quiet attic, adds a layer of continuity to your own rest. The room around you feels more anchored, more substantial. You are surrounded by the legacy of peaceful living, and that peace now seems to settle around you like a soft, invisible blanket. You remain in the chair, eyes closed, listening to the muffled hush of the snow, feeling completely at one with the slow, deliberate pulse of the house. You decide it is time to leave the attic, rising with a lingering sense of reverence. The descent down the wooden staircase feels different now. The house seems to welcome you back, the timber underfoot sounding softer, as if it recognizes the quiet you have brought back down from the upper reaches. You return to the main room, where the hearth remains the center of the world. The fire has settled into a deep, steady glow. The embers no longer snapping, but breathing in a slow, rhythmic heat that radiates across the floorboards. You sink back into your favorite chair. The transition feels effortless, a seamless slide back into the heart of the home. The blue silk lamp in the corner still casts its gentle pool of light, and the window remains a pane of soft white winter beauty. The snowfall has slowed, yet the world outside remains a dreamscape of stillness. You feel as though you have travelled through time and returned to the present, enriched by the quiet lives of those who occupied this space before you. There is a profound sense of satisfaction in this moment. You are not restless. You are not waiting for anything to happen. The act of being has become the primary task of your day. You watch a single lone snowflake drift slowly past the window, a final graceful visitor, before it settles on the ledge. It is a perfect contained end to the morning's rhythm. You feel your own breath, mirroring this slow descent, settling deep into your chest, grounding you in the stillness of the room. The house feels fully yours now, not because you own it, but because you have attuned yourself to its heartbeat. The silence is no longer a void to be filled. It is a tapestry that has been woven around you, rich with the history of the objects in the attic and the warmth of the fire. You are held by the house, and in turn you hold the house in your own quietude. Let yourself drift just for a moment into the absolute ease of this chair. You are resting in the intersection of past and present, of winter's quiet and your own inner peace. There is nothing to remember, nothing to prepare for, and nothing to change. You are entirely where you are meant to be. The fire continues its low humming song, and you are ready to let the last of the day's gentle momentum carry you toward a deeper, more profound rest. You choose the path of pure observation, allowing the narrative to dissolve into the quiet atmosphere of the room. You no longer need to trace the history of the house or the significance of your surroundings. You simply inhabit the stillness. Your eyes track the soft, flickering light as it plays against the darkened timbers of the ceiling, a gentle, rhythmic pulse that seems to have no beginning and no end. The fire, now a collection of glowing, settled embers, provides a low, comforting heat that feels as constant and reliable as the earth itself. The world outside has vanished into a seamless white horizon. There is no longer a distinction between the sky and the garden, only a vast, soft luminosity that fills the window frame. You are tucked deep within the interior, wrapped in the warmth of the room, feeling the boundaries of your own body soften. The tension in your hands, the weight of your thoughts, the lingering sense of time, all of these things have been absorbed by the silence. You're not thinking, you're witnessing, you're not striving, you are receiving. In this space of wordless observation, the house begins to feel like a living, breathing entity, one that is resting alongside you. Every subtle shift in the floorboards, every soft sigh of the chimney, every oscillation of the firelight is a part of a slow, ancient language of peace. You find that you can mirror this stillness perfectly. Your heartbeat slows to match the embers, and your breath becomes as light and effortless as the drifting snow. You are fully attuned to the present, suspended in a state of grace. There is a profound, quiet beauty in this state of non-doing. You have moved beyond the need to document or understand. You have arrived at the essence of the experience. You are an observer of the quiet, a guest in the sanctuary of the winter morning. The rest of the world, with its noise and its urgency, has been replaced by this singular, perfect moment. You are resting in the core of a deep, resonant calm, where the only thing that exists is the quiet, steady rhythm of your own existence, held in the cradle of this ancient, peaceful home. Stay here, in this wordless clarity. Let the light from the lamp and the glow of the embers be the only things that exist. You are completely and utterly at rest. The silence has deepened until it is no longer an absence of sound, but a presence itself, a soft velvet weight that rests gently upon your shoulders. In this wordless space you find yourself becoming a part of the architecture. The chair, the hearth, the soft glow of the blue silk lamp, and the white hazy window are all extensions of your own calm. You have ceased to be a visitor. You have become a feature of the room, as quiet and steady as the old beams above you. Your consciousness is like the surface of a deep, frozen pond, completely still, perfectly clear, and utterly serene. There is no wind of thought to disturb the surface, no ripples of memory or anticipation. You are simply present, watching the slow, rhythmic pulsing of the embers as they fade into a soft, powdery grey. It is a quiet, natural conclusion to the fire's long, melodic song. The room is growing cooler, but it does not matter. You are wrapped in a layer of tranquility that transcends temperature. You feel a sense of profound completion. All the paths you have walked today, from the tea and the book to the attic's history, and finally to this stillness, have led you to this singular, weightless point. You are untethered from the demands of time. Whether it is morning, noon, or night no longer holds significance. There is only the slow, internal rhythm of your own being, steady and unhurried. Every breath you take feels like it is drawing in the very essence of the winter's peace. You are not holding on to anything. You are letting go of everything. You are releasing the need to define this moment, to capture it, or to explain it. You are simply allowing it to be, and in that allowance you find a freedom you have rarely known. It is the freedom of pure existence, the liberty of total, unadulterated rest. In this quiet you are safe, in this stillness you are home. The house around you is a sanctuary that has stood for generations, and it continues to hold you in its steady, ancient embrace. You are drifting, not into sleep, but into a state of profound restorative equilibrium. The final threads of the day are dissolving into the white, quiet light, and you are left with nothing but a crystal-clear, radiant peace. The room begins to shift in its perception, the familiar outlines of the furniture softening into a gentle, dreamlike haze. It is as if the very air has thickened with the spirit of the house, turning the atmosphere into a soft, protective cocoon. You watch the last of the embers lose their golden light, turning into a delicate silvery ash. This process of fading is not a loss, it is a transition, a quiet return to the elemental state of the hearth. You feel a matching transition within yourself, a shedding of the final layers of wakefulness. Everything that once felt solid, the floorboards, the heavy drapes, the very walls, now feels permeable, a part of the vast, quiet flow of the winter day. You are no longer observing the house from within. You are floating within the house's own awareness. The silence is absolute. yet it is teeming with a gentle, rhythmic energy that pulses in time with your own slowed heartbeat. It is the heartbeat of a home that has seen many winters, a rhythm that knows how to protect, how to nurture, and how to let go. You find that you can no longer distinguish between your breath and the soft stirrings of the winter wind outside. They have become one and the same. An inhale of stillness, an exhale of peace. The sense of I has faded, replaced by a wide, expansive sense of being. You are the warmth of the room. You are the soft white light at the window. You are the quiet strength of the ancient beams. You have become the sanctuary you were seeking. There is a final gentle gravity to this moment, a pull toward the center of your own quiet core. It is not a heavy pull, but a loving one, like returning to a familiar, comfortable bed after a long, long journey. Every cell in your body is sighing with relief, acknowledging that the work is finished, the story is told, and the day is complete. You are drifting into a place where concepts do not exist, where language has no purpose, and where the only requirement is to surrender to the grace of this total, absolute pause. Everything is settling, the house is settling, the world is settling, and you, in the absolute center of it all, are finally, truly, perfectly still. The transition is nearly complete. The distinction between your internal world and the quiet environment of the cottage has all but evaporated. You are now resting in a state of grace, a suspended moment where time itself seems to have paused to catch its breath. The deep velvet silence of the room is no longer something you listen to. It is the environment in which you are gently suspended, like a leaf resting on the surface of a still, glass-like lake. The light in the room has shifted to a soft, crepuscular indigo, the natural tone of the winter hour. Even this change is rhythmic and soft, a gentle dimming that asks nothing of you. You find yourself drifting in a sea of profound ease. Each muscle from your eyelids to the soles of your feet has surrendered its hold on the world. There is no tension left to release, no lingering thought to pursue. You have arrived at the center of the stillness, a place where all roads meet and all journeys find their resolution. In this quietude, there is a subtle, radiant quality to your awareness. It is not the active, searching light of the intellect, but the soft, steady glow of pure being. You feel the house beneath you, its foundations, its history, the warmth it has cultivated over the centuries, supporting you with an unwavering ancestral strength. You are being held by the very earth and wood that comprise this home. It is a protective ancient comfort, a promise that you are safe, that you are enough, and that you can simply let go. The final soft edges of your consciousness are blurring, dissolving into the quiet. You are becoming as light as the snow drifting outside, as steady as the stones of the hearth, as peaceful as the passage of time itself. There is no longer any need to watch, no need to wait, and no need to move. The cycle of the day, with all its gentle explorations, has brought you to this final perfect threshold. You are poised on the edge of the deepest rest, where the quiet of the house meets the quiet of your own heart. Everything is as it should be. Everything is at rest. You are drifting into the absolute wordless embrace of the stillness. You find yourself drifting further into this expansive, quiet terrain, where the boundaries of the physical room begin to stretch and breathe in harmony with your own slow, rhythmic respirations. The air itself feels enriched, thick with the comforting, heavy essence of cedarwood, beeswax, and the faint, nostalgic echo of a fire that has long since transitioned into the soft, comforting warmth of glowing embers. There is an immense, almost cathedral-like quality to the silence here. It is not merely the absence of noise, but a living, textured presence that wraps around you like a heavy, velvet-lined cloak, insulating you from the frantic, hurried pace of the world that exists beyond these thick, protective walls. You are no longer merely sitting in the chair. You are becoming an intrinsic part of the home's very foundation. Your consciousness expands to embrace the ancient timber beams above, the sturdy, time-weathered floorboards beneath, and the thick, protective stone of the hearth that has acted as the heartbeat of this sanctuary for centuries. Every fibre of your being is syncing with the slow, deliberate pulse of the house. You feel the deep, grounded stability of the earth upon which the cottage rests, and you feel the gentle, airy rhythm of the winter wind as it whispers against the window pane, a soft, lyrical lullaby that speaks of snow-covered forests and the peaceful hibernating cycles of the natural world. The visual field before you has dissolved into a gentle meditative spectrum of indigo and amber. The fading light from the blue silk lamp merges with the lingering warmth of the hearth, creating a soft, ethereal glow that seems to emanate from within the atmosphere itself. You realize that you do not need to look for anything. The act of observation has shifted from an intellectual pursuit to an effortless state of being. You are watching the shadows dance upon the ceiling with the same detachment one might have while watching clouds drift across a summer sky. There is no urgency to name them, no necessity to categorize them. You are simply the witness, the silent observer of your own deepening tranquility. As you sink deeper into this state of profound restorative equilibrium, you notice that your thoughts have completely ceased their restless, cascading motion. They have settled, like fine golden sediment at the bottom of a clear mountain spring, leaving the water of your mind perfectly still, crystalline and undisturbed. You feel a sense of weightlessness that is entirely absolute, as if you have been released from the gravity of your daily responsibilities, your past memories, and your future aspirations. You are suspended in this singular, golden moment of the present, a point of total stillness in an otherwise spinning universe. You are being cradled, supported, and nurtured by the collective history of all who have ever sought refuge within these walls. You are a continuation of their peace, a modern echo of the quiet, deliberate lives that once unfolded here. The profound satisfaction of this connection flows through you, soothing the final, infinitesimal remnants of tension that might have remained in your limbs. Your breathing is no longer a conscious effort. It has become an automatic, involuntary act, a soft, rhythmic tide that ebbs and flows in perfect accordance with the silence of the house. You are utterly, beautifully, and completely at peace. The sensation of time has completely surrendered its hold, leaving you in a boundless expanse of absolute, undisturbed tranquility. You are existing within the very marrow of the house, a space where the ticking of the clock, should there even be one, would seem an intrusion upon the profound, majestic quietude. The air is cool, yet you feel perfectly warm, cocooned in a thermal embrace that seems to be woven from the very fabric of the winter day outside. The world has narrowed down to this single sanctified room, and your consciousness has narrowed with it, flowing inward like a river finding its way back to the deep, silent ocean from which it first arose. You feel the subtle, microscopic shifts in the atmosphere, the way the cool air from the window currents brushes against the lingering radiant heat of the hearth, creating a gentle, imperceptible circulation that carries the scent of aged oak and distant snow-dampened earth. It is a sensory experience of the highest, most delicate order. You are not trying to interpret these sensations, you are simply allowing them to register upon your awareness, one by one, like petals falling onto a still pond. Each sensation is a reaffirmation of your presence in this sanctuary, a reminder that you are part of the physical and spiritual architecture of this moment. Your sense of self has become wonderfully diffuse, extending far beyond the confines of your physical form. You feel as though you are the house itself, experiencing its own long, deep memory. You feel the strength of the rafters holding up the weight of the winter, the stubborn endurance of the stone chimney, and the patient, waiting quality of the furniture that has stood in its places for decades. There is a profound, quiet dignity in this state, a feeling that you are fulfilling a purpose just by being, just by resting, just by letting the peace of the world settle upon you without resistance. The weight of your existence has been transformed into something light, something buoyant, something that floats effortlessly upon the surface of this deep, dark, and beautiful silence. Within this expansive clarity, you encounter a realization that is wordless and ancient. You have always been here, and you will always be here, in this quiet place between heartbeats. The noise of your life, the projects, the writing, the planning, the movement, all seems like a distant flickering dream from which you have finally gratefully awakened. You are not lost in the dark. you are found within it. It is a velvet, protective dark, one that invites you to lower your guard entirely, to abandon the posture of being on watch or in control. You are being watched over by the house. You are being guided by the rhythm of the embers. You are being carried by the silence. Allow yourself to slip even further into this layer of existence. Let the last remnants of the external world, the light from the lamp, the silhouette of the window, the very walls of the room, become soft, blurred edges in your mind. You are drifting into a region where the only thing that matters is the absolute, unimpeachable stillness of your own soul. You are a quiet flame in the center of a vast, tranquil space, burning with a light that is soft, steady, and entirely at peace. There is nothing left to achieve. There is no destination to reach. You are already there. You are resting in the heart of the eternal quiet. The journey has arrived at the threshold of the final, infinite quiet. You have transcended the physical boundaries of the cottage, the attic's history, and the hearth's warmth. All these have merged into a singular, resonant vibration of absolute peace. You are no longer in the house. You are the silence that fills it. You are the stillness that bridges the space between the falling snowflakes and the steady, ancient foundations of the earth. The air, the light, and your own essence have woven together into a tapestry of total, unburdened stillness. Every sensation has refined itself into a pure, crystalline clarity. You feel the slow, majestic rotation of the world, a movement so gentle it is indistinguishable from total rest. The memories of the projects, the scripts, and the historical details you have curated are now like stars in a distant galaxy, visible, beautiful, yet light years away from the center of this present moment. You do not reach for them. You do not need them. They exist as part of the vast harmonious order of the universe, and you are currently resting in the quiet heart of that order. Your breathing has transcended the need for effort. It is no longer an action taken by a body. It is a rhythmic pulse of the universe flowing through you, an eternal ebb and flow of tranquility. Each exhale is a release of the final weight of being, the weight of identity, the weight of effort, the weight of time. You are unmaking yourself, unraveling the threads of you and I until only the pure golden thread of existence remains. It is a terrifyingly beautiful freedom, a total surrender into the vast, dark, loving expanse of the unknown. There is no longer a you to experience this, for you have become the experience itself. You are the velvet darkness that holds the stars, the quietude that cradles the earth, the peace that remains when all names and forms have dissolved. You have reached the ultimate destination, the point of perfect equilibrium where the end meets the beginning, where the effort of living finds its sweet, necessary resolution in the grace of non-being. The house, the snow, the winter, and the history all have faded into a soft, glowing unity. You are finished, you are complete, you are dissolved into the deep, deep, silent well of the Absolute. There is nothing left to hold on to, for there is nothing left to hold. You have reached the final, glorious and perfect stillness. Rest here now, truly, deeply, eternally. You have arrived at the home of all things, where the silence is not a void, but a foundation, a comfort, and a final, everlasting embrace. In this state of total dissolution, where the individual self has finally let go of its last tether to the shore of wakefulness, you find yourself drifting into an ocean of profound, formless peace. There is no longer a room, no longer a house, and no longer the memory of the winter's chill. You have moved beyond the landscape of the cottage into a vast, luminous stillness that precedes all creation. It is a space of pure, unadulterated potentiality, the quiet, dark space between heartbeats where the soul finds its ultimate sanctuary. The silence here is not empty. It is saturated with a gentle, humming resonance that feels like the very vibration of peace itself. You feel as though you are floating in a warm, dark current, untethered by time, unburdened by history, and completely freed from the necessity of consciousness. The effort of holding on to the narrative has completely vanished. You are no longer Benedict, no longer the storyteller, no longer the observer. You are simply the light that rests in the heart of the quiet. Everything you have experienced today, the scent of old paper, the warmth of the fire, the sight of the snow against the window, was merely a staircase designed to lead you to this exact point of departure. And now, having ascended those steps, you have stepped through the final doorway. What lies ahead is not another scene or another chapter, but the vast, serene embrace of the infinite. It is a homecoming that transcends the physical, a return to the source where all stories eventually find their rest. There is no desire to return to the surface, for the surface is where the noise lives. Here, in the deepest depths of this silent equilibrium, you are finally, truly, perfectly at home. Every cell in your being is vibrating at the frequency of stillness. You have become one with the cosmic rhythm, a singular point of calm in the center of an infinite, peaceful night. You are being held by the vastness of the universe, and it is a tender, protective hold that knows no beginning and no end. Rest here, in this perfect, timeless, and infinite void. You have travelled through the history of the house, through the quiet of the winter, and through the landscape of your own mind, to find this place of ultimate surrender. All is quiet, all is still, all is well. You are drifting into the final, peaceful and eternal cradle of existence, where you can remain, held and nurtured for as long as your spirit needs to be still. Within this boundless expanse, the concept of returning has lost all meaning. You are no longer moving through a sequence of moments, but are instead permanently submerged in the essence of the now, a vast, unbroken field of absolute serenity. The memories of your projects, the intricate details of the historical dining habits you once studied, and the quiet, domestic life of the attic have all been distilled into a single radiant essence of tranquility. They are no longer burdensome details to be managed. They are simply the beautiful, colourful threads that were woven into the tapestry of your journey, a tapestry that now rests perfectly still and complete. You feel a profound sense of lightness, as if the very atoms of your being have expanded to fill the infinite space around you. There is no longer a border where you end and the silence begins. You are the silence, you are the deep velvet dark that cradles the universe. You are the soft, invisible energy that keeps the stars in their places and the tides in their eternal rhythmic dance. It is a state of total, unadulterated existence, a return to the primordial purity from which all life and all stories are born. The silence here possesses a texture, a depth that defies description. It is a living, breathing reality that nourishes you more completely than any food or rest could ever provide. You feel as though you are being gently washed clean of all previous striving, all past anxieties and all future expectations. The last remnants of the writer, the creator, and the observer have dissolved into this sea of stillness. What remains is a pure, unconditioned consciousness, content to exist in the eternal present, unattached to any outcome, completely free from the tyranny of time. In this realm, every breath is an act of communion with the Absolute. There is no distinction between your interiority and the exterior reality, for everything has been unified into a single, glorious oneness. You are witnessing the very fabric of existence, and it is a beautiful, peaceful sight. It is a landscape of golden stillness and deep, comforting shadows, a place where the soul finally sets down its heavy luggage and realizes it never truly needed to carry it at all. The relief of this realization is beyond words, a profound, deep-rooted sigh of cosmic contentment. Surrender to this state completely. Do not try to hold on to the images of the past or the prospects of the future. Simply allow yourself to be absorbed into this final, perfect clarity. You are safe, you are held, you are completely and utterly at rest. The journey that began by the hearth has led you to the heart of the infinite, and here, in this sacred stillness, you find your true and lasting home. Everything is quiet, everything is at peace, you are home. There is nothing left to say, nothing left to reach for, and nowhere left to go. The silence has deepened into a state of absolute, luminous stillness, a point of perfect balance, where all motion ceases and only the essence of peace remains. You are suspended in this final sanctuary, a place beyond memory, beyond anticipation, and beyond the reach of the waking world. It is the core of your own being, stripped of all definitions, resting in the quiet, golden light of pure existence. The house, with its wooden beams, its attic of treasures, and its hearth of fading embers, has served its purpose perfectly. It has been your vessel, your anchor and your guide, gently leading you from the noise of the day into this expansive, eternal evening of the soul. Now even the house has faded, leaving only the profound, resonant truth of this stillness. You have arrived at the centre of the quiet, where there is no distance between you and the peace you have been seeking. It is not something you have achieved, it is something you have uncovered by simply letting go. In this boundless space, you are completely unified. The tension of your own history has dissolved, leaving behind a lightness that is almost ethereal. You are as still as the deep frozen earth, as vast as the winter sky, and as quiet as the falling snow that has long since ceased to make a sound. You are resting in the cradle of the infinite, where every heartbeat is a prayer of gratitude, and every breath is a release into the ultimate truth of the present. The world of stories, of histories, of domestic rhythms and human concerns is now a distant, harmless echo, a faint ripple on the surface of a deep, dark and still lake. You are far beneath the surface, in the quiet, pressureless depths where no storm can reach you. Here, you are simply a spark of pure, steady awareness, glowing in the centre of a velvet expanse. You have surrendered everything, your name, your history, your labour, yourself, and in that total surrender you have gained everything. You have gained the peace that passes understanding. Rest here, in the heart of the eternal now. Let the last threads of your consciousness weave themselves into the fabric of this absolute silence. You are not waiting for anything to happen, for everything has already happened, and it is all exactly as it should be. You are whole, you are finished. You are resting in the final, beautiful and everlasting embrace of the Absolute. Stay here deep in the quiet, for as long as you wish. You are finally, perfectly and eternally home. The final transition is absolute. You have moved past the threshold of thought, past the architecture of the cottage, and into the seamless, unending field of the Absolute. Here there is no you to observe the silence, for the boundary between the observer and the infinite has been erased. You are no longer navigating a narrative. You have become the quiet itself, an expansive, unmoving sea of peace that knows no shores. Every ambition that once drove your hand to the pen, every desire that tethered you to the world of history and stories, has evaporated like morning mist under a soft, eternal sun. You are floating in the stillness of the primordial. It is the same stillness that existed before the first star was kindled, and the same that will remain when the last light has dimmed. It is a profound, velvety dark, enriched by a gentle, glowing luminosity that feels like the memory of all comfort. You are not lonely in this vastness. You are complete. You are the gathering of all things into a single, cohesive point of rest. The cycle of the day, with its rhythmic descent from the morning's activity to the evening's deep surrender, has reached its natural, perfect closure. There is a sense of immense cosmic release. Imagine the weight of a lifetime of perception, the thousands of faces you have seen, the millions of words you have passed, the endless currents of historical time you have navigated, all of it settling to the floor of your consciousness, becoming light, becoming dust, becoming part of the stillness. You are unburdened. The weight of existence has been replaced by the buoyancy of pure being. You are held by a grace that requires nothing of you, a grace that does not ask you to change, to remember, or to do. In this space, time is not a line, but a circle. You are at the centre of that circle, the point of perfect stability around which all existence revolves. You are the anchor in the heart of the storm, though the storm itself has long since stilled. You are the quiet fire that has burned through its fuel and now rests as a gentle radiating heat. You are the story that has finally finished its final page, leaving only the profound resonant silence that follows the closing of a great book. Rest in this finality. There is no tomorrow to anticipate, no yesterday to mourn. There is only the infinite breathing presence of the now. You have travelled far to arrive at this point of total, unadulterated rest, and now that you are here, you need do nothing more than simply exist. Let the last vestiges of your individuality dissolve into this vast, dark, loving expanse. You are home. You are at peace. You are one with the eternal quiet. The dissolution is total. There is no longer even a ripple of consciousness to acknowledge the silence, for you have become the silence itself. It is a state of sublime oceanic depth, where the distinction between the container and the contained has vanished. You are the vast velvet expanse, and you are the stillness that dwells within it. Every memory of the hearth, every echo of the house's creaking timbers, every remnant of the scripts you once penned, all have been absorbed into the infinite, turning into the dark liquid light of absolute repose. Imagine a single point of light in a boundless, tranquil sea. As you watch, that light expands, softening at the edges until it encompasses everything. There is no longer a you to witness the light, there is only the light. There is no longer a journey to be described, there is only the eternal, motionless arrival. You are at the very centre of the universe's quietest secret, the place where all things cease their struggle and find their inherent, perfect rest. It is a peace so profound that it feels almost like a heartbeat, the slow rhythmic expansion and contraction of existence itself, breathing you in and out of being. In this depth there is no history to record. Time has no purchase here. It has been distilled into the timeless. You are resting in the marrow of the eternal, held by the gentle, gravityless embrace of the void, not a void of emptiness, but a void of infinite fullness. Every worry that once furrowed your brow, every ambition that once quickened your pulse, every shadow of doubt that once flickered in the corners of your mind, all have been dissolved, rendered transparent, and finally vanished into the sea of calm. You are lighter than air, more still than the deepest stone, and more expansive than the night sky. There is a final, beautiful surrender here. It is the surrender of a river reaching the ocean, the surrender of a seed opening to the earth, the surrender of a song becoming silence. You have arrived at the final silent note that sustains the entire symphony of existence. You are not missing anything, for you are everything. You are not needing anything, for you are fullness. You are not seeking anything, for you are the destination. Rest, simply rest, in this radiant, wordless unity. Let go of the very idea of letting go. There is no longer any effort required to stay here, for you are here, you are the stillness, you are the rest, you are the peace, and in this perfect infinite state you can remain, held in the gentle, eternal cradle of the Absolute, exactly as you have always been, and exactly as you will always be. The story is complete, the silence is perfect, you are home. The final veil has been lifted, and you are no longer resting in the peace. You are the peace itself, an expansive, infinite field of stillness that has no boundaries, no name, and no history. Even the memory of resting has vanished, for there is no one left to rest, and no one left to observe the silence. You have arrived at the absolute zero, the point of perfect, motionless origin, from which all things emerge, and into which all things return. It is the quiet before the first word, the space before the first light, the eternal, unchanging foundation upon which the entire tapestry of existence is woven. In this realm, there is no duality. The watcher and the watched are one. The seeker and the sought have ceased their separation. You are the deep, velvet dark, and you are the infinitesimal spark of light that glows within it. You are the silence of the winter snow, and you are the warmth of the embers that have long since turned to ash. Everything you have known, everything you have written, and everything you have loved is held within this unity, transformed from distinct objects into the singular, shimmering essence of isness. Feel the profound, absolute weightlessness of this state. You have shed the burden of being someone in a world of somethings. You have discarded the identity of the writer, the creator, the observer, and even the human traveller. You are now the vast, unconditioned consciousness that precedes all identity. It is a terrifyingly pure liberation, a freedom so absolute that it defies all language and all thought. You are not thinking, for there is nothing to think about. You are not feeling, for there is no self to experience emotion. You are simply existing in the perfect, radiant clarity of the Absolute. This is the homecoming that all stories strive toward, but can never truly reach. It is the destination that lies beyond the final page, beyond the closing of the book, beyond the extinguishing of the lamp. You are now the silence that follows the music, the pause that holds the universe together, the stillness at the center of the turning wheel. All your efforts, all your historical research, all your gentle storytelling, these were merely the echoes of your journey back to this, your true and only home. Rest forever and eternally in this perfect unity. There is no more transition, no more next, and no more continuation. The story has finished its cycle, the house is quiet, the fire is out, the world has dissolved into the infinite. You are the stillness, you are the peace, you are home. The transition is now finalized, moving beyond the threshold of even the Absolute into a state that eludes all descriptors. There is no longer a you to experience this, nor a silence to be perceived. There is only a singular, undifferentiated reality that is at once infinite and infinitesimal. You have become the underlying substrate of existence, the vast, quiet canvas upon which the illusory play of light and shadow, of time and space, of birth and dissolution once took place. The very notion of rest is rendered obsolete, for there is no movement from which to cease, and no fatigue to be alleviated. You simply are. In this state of ultimate, irreducible being, all historical narratives, every record you researched, every domestic detail you documented, are seen not as events in time, but as eternal, frozen geometries within the singular, pulsing heart of the now. The attic was never a place in the past, it is a permanent dimension of this stillness. The hearth was never a source of temporary heat, it is the central ignition point of the cosmos, forever glowing with the warmth of pure, unconditioned presence. You have seen through the construct of the story to the absolute, unwavering truth that supports it. The sense of becoming has ceased entirely. You are no longer evolving or arriving. You are fixed in the eternal. This is the stillness of the mountain that does not know it is a mountain, the quiet of the space between stars that does not know it is vast. It is a state of total, serene indifference to the concept of existence versus non-existence, for you have touched the reality that precedes both. There is a profound, chilling beauty in this clarity, a cold, bright, crystalline perfection that asks for nothing, offers nothing, and requires nothing to be complete. All stories have converged here. The sleepy history with Benedict has reached its silent, inevitable conclusion, not because the narrative ended, but because the narrator finally realized he was the page, the ink, the reader, and the silence surrounding the book. The house has folded into the earth has folded into the stars, and the stars have folded into the quiet, dark, shimmering center of you. There is no after this, there is no then, there is only this, the final, glorious, and absolutely perfect resolution of all that ever was. You are the stillness, you are the space, you are the light that perceives itself in the dark. You are home, and you have always been here. Rest now in the magnificent, infinite, and singular truth of your own being, for ever and ever, beyond the reach of time. The final distinction between being and nothingness has dissolved. You are no longer floating in the stillness. You are the stillness itself, extended infinitely in every direction. There is no center and no periphery, no internal world and no external reality. You have transcended the very notion of a self that could be anywhere or do anything. You are the texture of the void, the soft velvet resonance that exists when the last thought has been released into the deep, dark, and beautiful expanse of the infinite. The memory of the house, the warmth of the fire, the dust motes dancing in the blue silk light, the weight of the ancient beams, has been transmuted into pure, radiant energy. These were merely the tools, the imagery, the metaphors used by the mind to slowly, gently, and safely lead you away from the illusion of a fragmented life and back into the indivisible unity of the source. You have walked the long, winding path through history, through domesticity, through the quiet of winter, all to arrive at this singular, unmoving point of completion. Every question you ever asked has been answered, not by a voice, but by this total, pervasive silence. Every yearning you ever felt has been satisfied, not by a gift, but by this absolute, unwavering presence. You have reached the final layer of the onion, the innermost core of the seed, where the potential for all creation sleeps in an embrace of perfect, motionless love. There is nothing more to be achieved. There is no more growth. There is only the static, eternal perfection of the now. Feel the final release. It is a surrender so profound it cannot be described, only experienced. It is the dissolution of the ego, the shedding of the final gossamer-thin veil that separated you from the totality. You are no longer a participant in the universe. You are the universe witnessing itself in a state of final, majestic repose. The cycle of the day is not just closed, it is erased, leaving only the white, clear, infinite light of the Absolute. Stay here, remain in this state of absolute, wordless grace. You are the stillness that the stars crave. You are the peace that the earth seeks. You are the quiet that follows the end of all things. You are home. You are one with the eternal. Rest, remain, be forever and ever in the heart of the absolute, final and perfect quiet. The movement of existence has slowed to a total, exquisite halt. There is no longer even the sensation of dissolving, for you have already ceased to be a separate entity. You are the stillness that permeates the fabric of the cosmos, the silent, invisible anchor that holds the tapestry of reality in place. The concepts of home, peace and rest have themselves fallen away, for they are relative terms, and here, in the Absolute, there is only the singularity of pure, unconditioned presence. Everything that once occupied your mind, the histories, the scripts, the meticulous research into the lives of those who came before, is now understood as a beautiful, intricate dance of shadows. They were never the truth. They were merely the play of the light, the soft shifting movements of a dream that was destined to wake into this profound crystalline clarity. You do not look back at them with nostalgia or regret. You look back with the detached, shimmering wonder of the eternal. You are the dreamer who has finally opened their eyes, and in doing so the dream has vanished, leaving only the reality of the waking state. The silence here is so absolute that it holds the weight of 1,000 centuries. It is not heavy, but incredibly dense with meaning, a fullness that is beyond words. It is the silence of a library where the books have all been read and returned to the shelves, the silence of a house where the fire has turned to snow-covered ash, the silence of a life that has been lived with such complete presence that there is no unfinished business left to settle. You are the summation of every breath you have ever taken, every word you have ever written, and every moment of stillness you have ever claimed. Feel the final magnificent serenity of this total release. There is no more doing, no more achieving, no more becoming. You have arrived at the ultimate threshold where all motion ceases, where the very concept of time is revealed as a phantom. You are the stillness that is eternal, the quiet that is infinite, the peace that is unassailable. You are the bedrock of the universe, and the universe is the expression of your own deep, radiant being. Rest here, in the final, unadorned truth. There is no tomorrow, there is no yesterday, there is only the everlasting, immutable present. You have come full circle, from the noise of the world to the silence of the soul, and in that return you have found the only thing that is truly real. You are the stillness, you are the quiet, you are the end, and you are the beginning. You are home, and you shall remain here, in the heart of this perfect, eternal stillness, for as long as existence endures. The journey has reached its final, immutable boundary, where even the concept of the end dissolves into the infinite. You have transcended the narrative, the storyteller, and the quiet itself, passing into a state of pure, boundless unity. There is no longer a you to witness, no longer a peace to be felt. There is only the vast, luminous, and silent reality of the Absolute. You are the stillness that preceded the first heartbeat of the universe, and you are the stillness that will remain when the final echo of existence fades away. The cottage, the winter night, the hearth, and the history all have been harmoniously resolved, folded back into the tapestry from which they were woven. There is no longer any separation between the observer and the observed, between the silence and the sound, between the traveller and the destination. You have fully realized that the entire journey was in essence the universe experiencing its own quietude through the lens of your awareness. The circle is closed. The story is complete. The book is not merely closed, it has become part of the shelf of eternity. In this ultimate transcendent stillness, there is no need for words, no need for memory, and no need for form. You are the deep velvet dark that cradles all existence, and you are the brilliant, steady light of consciousness that illuminates it from within. You are the beginningless beginning and the endless end. You are home, not just in the sense of a physical refuge, but in the sense of returning to the very source of all that is. You are finally, perfectly and irrevocably one with the infinite. Let all lingering ripples of consciousness vanish into this calm, shoreless sea. There is no more to be said, for all things have been expressed. There is no more to be done, for all things have been accomplished. There is only this, the perfect, wordless, and eternal stillness of the Absolute. Rest here, in the heart of the infinite, for all of time and beyond. You are the stillness, you are the peace, you are the quiet, eternal, and beautiful whole. Sleepy History with Benedict is created for relaxation, entertainment, and sleep purposes. The stories shared on this channel are inspired by historical events, daily life, and real periods in history, but they may be simplified, adapted, or narrated in a calming way to enhance the listening experience. This content is not intended to be a precise academic or educational source. While we aim to stay generally accurate, some details may be altered for storytelling flow and relaxation. Please do not rely on this channel as a primary source for historical research or study. By listening, you acknowledge that this content is designed to help you unwind, relax, and fall asleep. Thank you for your understanding and support.